You need to hear this if you're a wrestling fan. Monday Night Raw Episode 2 is here, and it's packed with action. Welcome to the Around the Ballpark podcast with your hosts Mike Redmond and Brian Anderson. We are live with the second episode of WWE Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Tonight, it's Dakota Kai taking on Lyra Valkyria to crown the first ever WWE Intercontinental Champion. Who's your pick? But that's not all. Damian Priest squares off against Finn Balor in an epic street fight that you won't want to miss. Will the ring survive? And making his debut, Penta steps into the ring to face Chad Gable. Can Gable handle the heat? Stay tuned, wrestling fans, because tonight's lineup is straight fire. Let's get ready to rumble.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Around the Ballpark podcast. It is Monday night, January 13th, and we are live with episode 2 on Netflix for Monday Night Raw. Brian, how you doing tonight?
Great, sir. How are you?
Doing well. I tried to have a lot of different glitch and technical issues, but got here just in time, so I'm grateful for that. So that is awesome. But yes, we are live and ready to go. I'm super excited for tonight. You know, I think the main thing, Brian, I think you could agree that tonight we're looking at is the continuance of storylines tonight. I think last week was more for the casual fan, for the new viewer that they were trying to get in that may not know everything that's going on. One thing I mentioned last night on the podcast was you don't want to. Could you imagine the 15th Marvel movie in a row and you just show the next one in line on Netflix for the first time and expect everyone to just know what's going on, right? So I felt like the first episode had to be like a reintroduction of sorts to the product. And now tonight they can pick up on the storylines. That way people actually know what's going on. So I think people just need to be a little bit more patient, understand it was just 1 week. It was for what it was. And I think it was successful. And we'll see how tonight goes. Obviously, they're not going to get the same viewers as they did last week, but 4.9 million viewers is nothing to sniff at. So do you agree with that? Or?
So absolutely. 3 huge stars from when I was a child, obviously Triple H, The Rock, John Cena, all there when I was growing up. So bringing in those casual fans with those big names. We'll see if we get any surprises tonight. I thought there was kind of a lack of surprises, but I think it was like you said, it was just bring in the casual viewers, try to keep the wrestling fans at bay and kind of drag us in and get some more story out. So I'm excited.
Yeah. And, I think the main thing tonight, you heard in that intro video with the awesome technology that it was, but with Penta against Chad Gable tonight. Now, it hasn't officially been announced that it's Penta versus Chad Gable. However, what was announced today all over social media and on WWEshop.com was the fact that they are making no qualms about selling Penta merchandise. And so it looks like we are going to be getting Penta in one way or the other. I'm assuming it's going to be with the matchup against Chad Gable, but we shall see.
It's a big pickup, I think, for them. Big pickup. So excited.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just making sure while we're just getting a few new viewers on here, as CM Punk shows up to. Let's see here. I'm just making sure that we are live on Facebook as well.
I'm getting my red ring over here. I'm going to call my CEO of Netflix and let him know how I feel about it.
You are getting the red ring.
Camper. I am.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show this to you. I don't know if you can see this, but can you see it? Let me get there.
Okay.
See who that says there?
Yeah. Tribal Chief. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got off the phone with that guy. He asked me to present these to you, the Around the Ballpark in the Ring podcast. He said it was the best podcast he'd ever heard. He tuned in last week after Raw. Was super excited about what you and Tevin had. So they better bring the heat or I'm going to send them down there.
I think that's a wise choice. Because I will accept the Ulafala. I accept it. And those of you in the comments, I just want to make sure for whatever reason, let's see here. Let's see. I'm just making sure. I know on Facebook it's showing that it's not live on Facebook, only on YouTube. So sometimes let's see here.
Mark, I'm gonna have the tribal chief call Mark Zuckerberg and make sure we get this straightened out.
Absolutely. That would be helpful if you wouldn't mind doing that during the commercial break. Okay, we are back up and running, so it should be good now. Okay, on that. So thank those of you that are here with us. Let us know that you're here in the comments. I see some of you online, so would appreciate to know that you're here by mentioning in the comments that you're here. So we have CM Punk kicking off the broadcast tonight. One thing in the preview for tonight where there were a lot of, instead of a lot of matches, which we didn't get last week, we only got 4, but there were a lot of promo packages or promos that were previewed for tonight. So this is the first one. I'm assuming that this is going to be CM Punk announcing that he's going to the Royal Rumble. We've already heard that Roman Reigns is going to be in the Rumble, and we've heard John Cena. So that's 3 legit people. Unfortunately, the other 27 people probably have absolutely no chance of winning. I'd love to see one time someone that you wouldn't expect, but the reason we're never going to see that is because then that person would then main event WrestleMania. So you're never going to see an Xavier Woods win the Royal Rumble because they're not going to do something like that at a WrestleMania. That's the main reason. But it would be cool just to see something unexpected.
There's so many more things they can do today with the amount of belts that they have. Back 91, Hogan won it. I think it was the second time or something, but he had just the one title they went for. It was the Intercontinental title. I don't even think it was defended at WrestleMania. Maybe it was when Bret Hart had it, and it was more prestigious. But like it was just that one big match, and then everything else was just big names: Macho, Andre, Jake the Snake. So they can do a lot more with the 2 nights and the multiple championships and things of that nature.
They can now, but let me ask you this, and this is a popular hot point: is do you ever want to see? Because they've announced that the 2-night is going to include SummerSlam. Do you want to see them ever including anything beyond that in 2 nights, or is that the extent of it?
The thing I miss is Survivor Series, how they used to do it, the 5-on-5 matches, and there seemed to be some sort of I don't want to say prize, but like bragging rights on when you won, not the SmackDown Raw thing, because I just think that was no good for the thing. But I liked it back when it was like the Warriors versus the Hulkamaniacs or the Macho versus Hogan's and things like that. I know Demolition had a team. They were my tag team. We talked about that last week. They had a team, and it was just so much better there. And the storytelling, I think, was so much better. So I'd like to see that. I don't know that I'd like to see it for 2 nights. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, and especially you have SmackDown already, so that's technically already the first night, and so I don't want to see Rumble 2 nights. I don't really even want to see SummerSlam at 2 nights. I love Mania at 2 nights. I think I would never want to go back to that to 1 night, but I don't think anything beyond SummerSlam should ever happen. So
because you don't want to rush it. You don't want to rush it. You need to let things happen. You need the big matches to have those moments. And when they rush some of them, like you hear stories about other WrestleManias, I think it was Punk and Jericho or something to that effect that got rushed, and they were really heated about it. So doing the 2 nights, you can actually give it its credence out there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And
new shirt. Is that a new shirt? Is that the one
this
from
one?
last week? Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, this was one of the couple that I got. There were a couple misses and some. I got that fever. I went down and they had the 2 for 30 or 2 for 20 deal. So I went and bought like 4 shirts, and 2 of them were complete misses. They weren't the right color. They weren't the right size. So there's 2 that made it through the final cut. So I'll have to be a little more selective on the next cruise. And I do have to ask though, the W that's on your cap, does that stand for a win?
So it might be that, but out of respect for your wife, I was going to do this. I was going to put on this one, but then I figured you probably couldn't see me. So like a homage to John. But we won't. We'll get rid of the W there, out of respect.
Yeah,
it was. On.
I think we collectively, as Punk is doing his promo here, I think we collectively, those that were still awake, when it hit the upright, the chances of it doing what it did and going through, we were like, oh, and then you can see that just the heart of everyone in the attendance just went down.
It's like the Commanders games have all been like that. Now they call them the cardiac Commanders. So they've definitely been like that. And wrestling is kind of like that too. The edge of your seat. We're waiting on that music to pop. you remember Survivor Series is 2 years ago now, right? Or at least a year ago that his music hit. And I think the wrestling world dropped out as soon as it hit.
Yes. And we do have our first question that came through from a new subscriber, John Rosa. Thank you so much for subscribing. It says, is Pentacon Jr. coming tonight? Anybody know? Coming to Raw. So we kind of touched that a little earlier, but it's not official. But they released a ton of Penta merchandise and masks and T-shirts today online. So now I don't agree with them saying to find the best luchador that you can find. Tevin brought up a good point that is Rey Mysterio. So you already have him in the locker room. But Penta versus Chad Gable, take my money any day. That's a fantastic match. Hopefully they get enough time. So to answer your question, yes, I believe Pentagon will be on tonight. Just be patient. Sometime before the end of the third hour, we will see him on. And Eileen says that's okay. Commanders deserved it. First playoff win in like 20 years.
I know.
Yeah. But how awesome is it to have a rookie quarterback do what he did? It's just amazing how just dynamic that offense is. And I think you mentioned off air that the situation that happened with Baker Mayfield fumbling the ball might have cost him the game. But I think once both corners went out for Tampa with injury, then there was clear mismatches going on. Like Warren was having a field day out there catching passes for long distances. So I think that definitely had something to do with it too.
Yeah, they might not get the tie-in touchdown.
So Kev, a great friend of mine, Kevin Olson, who we will have on soon once the stars collide, or stars align, I should say. Is Rey still the best luchador? No, he's definitely not the best luchador. I'm thinking in my head of best one you could find of all time. You can make an argument, but now best there, maybe the best there is, or maybe the best that there was, but maybe not the best there is now. So that could very well be Penta. So. But it was just interesting because the segment was it was supposed to be New Day versus Rey and find a partner, and then that just kind of disappeared, and they pretended that never happened.
So a question for you, Mike, and they do this in AAA and a lot of other wrestling organizations, is they'll have their stars with multiple championships from many different organizations, sometimes like 10 or 13 championships. Does that diminish the champion, or do you think that puts him at the top of the league? Because I almost think Rey, with the 1 or 2 world title runs here at WWE, equals those 10 or 13 championships.
Yeah, I think because of the star power that was in WWE at the time. Now, some argue that he got what he got because Eddie Guerrero had just passed and whatnot. But just regardless, he had some big victories, had some top opponents. And so, yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah. At this level, Rey is one of the top ones. And it'll be interesting because he kind of set that stage for people to come into WWE and be that luchador, because a long time ago, it wasn't like that. I mean, Aldo Montoya, the mask guy, was really the only luchador, and he wasn't a luchador at all. So,
yes. Yeah, no, he wasn't at all. And right now we're getting to a couple of questions that came through in just a second. But right now we have Seth Rollins and CM Punk with a little back and forth banter. They've done a great job. I mean, we know that they do not like each other, but they're doing a great job really driving that point across. But again, Seth Rollins and the Royal Rumble, that's 4 legit people that you can make a case could win. And the more people that you have that could actually be believable as winners, the better. So
what is weird is some of the mid-card people are definitely championship level. So we can kind of see a Finn Balor or a Damian Priest get back into that. And that's believable, and that's deserving for both of those guys, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And now I'm seeing here on the thread or on the show, Seth's talking about CM Punk's WrestleMania dreams. How amazing would it be if they went back in time to those of you that can remember the Royal Rumble when Stone Cold Steve Austin was a heel, got thrown over the top ropes. The referees were not paying attention whatsoever. Austin comes back into the ring and makes eliminations and winds up winning that year's Royal Rumble. Not saying that Seth Rollins is going to win, but I could very well see them pay tribute to that and have CM Punk eliminate Seth Rollins from the Rumble with the ref's backs turned. Seth gets back into the ring, crushes CM Punk's WrestleMania main event dreams for now, because he could still win the chamber. And so that could very well, I see that happening. And this is interesting. Drew McIntyre is just coming out, and because that's another main eventer that could put his name in there. But I really didn't think we'd see Drew and CM Punk on the same screen for a while. But here we are.
Right back to square one with these guys.
Yes.
Definitely all these guys are all-stars. They got big contracts now and they deserve it. I like what they did with Drew when he got his one in The Rock, presented him with the sword because, he easily could have jumped ship. Nothing against AEW. I love them, but I don't want them to make the same mistakes that WCW did with old WWE talent. Heaven forbid we said WWF talent.
Yeah, and that seems it's a rough period right now. That Jeff Jarrett's getting the John Cena treatment, and AEW getting this final run that nobody wants to see. I don't know who Adam Hangman Page upset backstage, but his next two matches are Jeff Jarrett and Christopher Daniels, who combined ages between the two are 107. So I'm not sure there. And yes, Kevin says WWE's come a long way since Mil Mascaris eliminating himself in the Rumble. Just watched that one the other day, actually. That was
a big one that's trolling the internet is Truth in the Women's Rumble.
Yes.
Where's all the men at? To be with that dude in the back is just crazy.
Yes.
So, and I, for the next couple of weeks, all we'll hear is I'm winning the Rumble. This is why I'm winning the Rumble. And then this is what I'm doing. Then after they lose, this is why I'm going to Elimination Chamber. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Now, one thing I would love to see here in 2025 is I get it. Back in the 80s and 90s, they insulted our intelligence, but can we get away from the number one and number two or tag team partners and how, oh my goodness, they're going to start this match off against each other. I think we're at a point now. Now, I don't want to see them announcing who number 1 or number 30 are either. I hate that with a passion. I want to be fully surprised during the event.
It's very, very weird when they do that. Number 1, all right, I get number 1, but number 30, really? That's what we're doing? So,
yep. And they try a little too hard with the number stats, they really do. No one's ever won, from the number 9 position. Does it matter what number you drew? I don't know.
Well, they'll get the whole thing. Well, when the runway was this long, this guy won this many times, and that means he will win the championship.
Yes. Kevin just said it. Oh, my God, it's Axe versus Smash. We're to believe that the first 2 numbers just randomly were Axe and the Repo Man. So
it's so much different than it used to be as far as the kayfabe and all this stuff. And we get to see Gorilla Position and we get to see Triple H and get to see that it's a different ball game out there.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Now, here's the thing, and I said this last week. Seth Rollins, you want to take him seriously with that goofy. He needs for that 1 week. Just stop with the ridiculous wardrobe. You can't take him serious when he's dressed like that. Now I know he's taking his jacket off now, but come on.
He's so the poofy jackets, the big boots. It's just too much for a dude as talented as him. And I get it. You want us to talk about it? I get it. I get it.
And Eileen mentioned the only thing Punk loves more than the mic is the sound of his own voice. Not saying I don't love it. That is true. CM Punk would talk in third person if he was allowed to do so.
I think because he's not bigger or he doesn't have the physique of some of the guys, he has to make them waves and be that egotistical guy. So you want to pay attention. You either want to love him or you want to hate him. There's no in between.
Yeah, no, there's not. And Kevin mentioned nothing will ever beat Bobby Heenan on commentary in '92 when Flair was in the Rumble. We had heard at least 61 times. That's not fair to Flair. And I still think that was the best Rumble match, with the exception of one. I'd say second best Rumble match in its history. I mean, when you have the world title on the line, it's hard to beat that.
Probably the best feud, I think, in wrestling was when he brought the championship from WCW out and was like, I'm the real world champ. I was just like, what in the world is that belt doing here? That cannot be approved by Vince. No way.
No.
Because I thought Vince legit hate him. So I don't know.
And it just said LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, John Cena, Roman Reigns have all declared for the Royal Rumble. So that is pretty exciting. It's going to be a lot of star power there.
So do you think it's Solo will stay SmackDown and Roman will be kind of here on Raw, or do you think Roman stays on SmackDown as well?
Yeah, Roman has to be on Raw. I think that part of that in the fine print of the billion-dollar deal to have Raw on Netflix was that they wanted Roman Reigns. I don't think they're willing to part with him, and so that's why I think we'll see Drew McIntyre on SmackDown. I think we'll see Gunther on SmackDown. I think we will see Jey Uso move over to SmackDown. I'd love to see him get a world title run on SmackDown. So I can see that, but I don't know where they go. I mean, Solo was noticeably not on SmackDown this week. So I'm not sure where they go from here with that. If Jacob takes the reins, and if he does, he's just got Tama Tonga left at this point because Tonga Loa is injured. So, and American made, and I feel like I got to say this though, real quick. They talked about the draft, the window, and stuff like that. It feels like they're just letting them go back and forth. No one's committing to either show. It's just whoever wants to show up. I really wish they'd go back to one, one brand. Just because then you don't have to showcase the talent every week. But it would just make more sense than having them randomly show up here. But this is interesting. You've got Chad Gable coming to the ring. So this is the match that everyone's looking forward to. Will this be Penta? If it's not, I would be completely surprised. They control us, but I don't think they'll go that route. It'll be interesting to see what version of Penta, and then eventually some were saying they wanted Jose the assistant. Some were thinking Zelina Vega. Definitely, as Kevin mentioned earlier, we do not want him any part of the LWO. Nothing against them. They just all seem exactly the same. And Rey Mysterio has gone way down the ladder. He's an afterthought on Raw nowadays. They say veteran, and he's props to his career or whatnot. But LWO, unfortunately, is just not the answer for Penta. I really hope that we don't see a 3-week push and then he disappears. I don't think we will, but
that's a career killer. I think it's just a merch mover. It's just, hey, we got another T-shirt that has 3 letters on it. So. Hopefully not now. And then I think it's kind of funny, the Ray Phoenix thing, like he's held hostage. Do you remember they did Kevin Nash and Scott Hall? They were held hostage by these other ones, and Ray's kind of got that deal with AEW. So that'll be fun to see if that comes up on TV at all, or gets mentioned.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And Kevin mentions someone else can make comments now. I do see there's 14 of us in here. So if you are here at your computer, go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe. Let us know that you're here. I mean, I know you're here, but you're not here. And that's okay if you just turned us on. It still gives us that view. We are just less than a couple subs away from 1650, so that is awesome. So we are so close. So be part of history. Get us to 1650 today. But I'm going to take this quick opportunity now that we are at its first commercial break before Penta. I mean, whoever is going to be coming to the ring here in a minute and 30 seconds. I want to just shout out to our proud sponsors at Nashville Tax Solutions with Christopher Bennett and his team. We very much appreciate all that they do. And so you'll see the banner there at the bottom of the screen. But in the heart of Palm Bay, where the ocean meets the sky, there's a place where tax worries meet their end. Whether you need to file years of missing returns, current year return, or you need relief from a tax lien or levy, Nashville Tax Solutions has the solution for you. Introducing Nashville Tax Solutions, your trusted partner in the tax resolution industry. Nashville Tax Solutions, we understand the stress and confusion that tax problems can bring. That's why we're here to offer clarity, relief, and peace of mind. Our expert team of tax professionals are dedicated to providing personalized solutions tailored to your unique situation. Nashville Tax Solutions saved me from a financial nightmare. They're not just experts in tax resolution, they're compassionate too. So don't let tax problems weigh you down. Contact Nashville Tax Solutions today and let them, not me, guide you. You don't want me to guide you anywhere. Let them guide you towards a brighter financial future. Call Nashville Tax Solutions 615-502-2250. Check out their website at nashvilletaxsolutions.com or send an email to info@nashville. That's info@nashvilletaxsolutions.com, where tax resolution is achieved. And just another shout out to all that they do. Sorry again, Christopher, for the Tampa Bay losing last night. I know you were a big fan, season ticket holder, but their year was, I think, exceeded expectations. and they have their quarterback for years to come. So although it's not the outcome we all wanted, when I say we all, except for Brian and Lionel and a couple others, it is what it is. It was a great game. You can't be upset too much about that. So, but and I see a bunch more of you jumped in. So thank you so very much. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we're about to find out who that best luchador is right here, right now.
So Chris can't be too sad. This is his season coming up here. So he'll be plenty busy.
Yes. All right, the lights are out. It could be The Undertaker, but it's probably not.
Could be El Mexico bad, but
he's had 5 or 6 different names in AEW, so it'll be interesting to see which one they go with here.
So what kind of entrance too? Oh.
Yes. The worst kept secret in the business. He is no longer held hostage by Tony McMahon in AEW.
Tony McMahon.
I mean, he's become what he
I really like the little name thing. I think that's pretty cool.
Yes.
So you kind of individualize it for the person.
Yes.
Him slamming the stairs, him slamming the check at the bank. Pay me this.
He looks like someone who just came off a nice vacation. He's ready to go. Like Kevin said, he looks very happy to be here. And this match is going to mean something. Chad Gable, great opponent for your first match. I would love to see them move forward with Chad Gable in some way. They've had so many good programs with him. Right now, he's just kind of being a placeholder, but I'm not too worried about that. He brings the best out of a lot of people.
I think he just re-upped not too long ago, too. He said he was very happy with what was going on at the company, so that's good. He's a heck of an athlete, man.
Yes. Definitely.
And Around the Ballpark is the official podcast or the unofficial podcast of All Sports Entertainment. So I did get that across my Twitter feed. Up X. It's X.
Up next. Yes.
X. The Rams draw first blood, so 7-0. I got simulcast going on over here. There's TVs everywhere. Well, I know our viewers want to see it. So they're gracious enough to see your lovely face and me for some reason, and we want to keep them updated. So
yes, and this will be the last Monday that WWE does not have to worry about Monday Night Football. So there's that. So that'll be nice for them. I think they kind of knew that going in tonight too. Like they're hoping for a high turnout, but they know that a lot of people are going to be watching football as well.
I love little Chad. Who is he with? Jason Jordan, right? Weren't they a tag team like that?
So they were so good. Jason Jordan had like a 2-month stretch where his matches were phenomenal. When the singles thing, or the whole Kurt Angle is my daddy storyline.
What does Vince like those storylines so much for?
Oh, Chad ruins the moment. The crowd is not happy. They were ready for it. I'm sure he'll get his moment in there.
So he looks a little different, not much different, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
Time
will tell if he's going to get a mouthpiece or something. But yes, I agree. I hope they get 10 minutes or so.
Are you a fan of the ring? Do you think those logos do anything? I know you were talking about it last week, but
yeah. Well, I bet. Let me start off with this. I bet they're really regretting that All-American beer one. That didn't work out so well. I mean, I guess it's better than some of the other brands, but that whoever's TV time got cut for that, they have a gripe there. But no, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I get it. What does bother me is that they're so focused on the biggest gate that they're almost going to start pricing out. It's almost going to be Disney pricing here, where you're going to, if you want to sit in the upper deck, you're priced out unless you're going to spend $300 to sit in the nosebleed. So makes sense. If it's a smaller venue and the highest gate they've ever had, that means it's not that just more people are coming. They've always been coming. It's that they're charging astronomical prices to get in. And I understand there's a demand. They got to pay the bills. They got, but at the same time, so this, get creative like that. I would love to find out why Prime is no longer partnering with them on Monday nights or in general. But so do what you got to do there. Go to whatever countries you got to go to. But if you guys remember too, in Scotland, when they had Clash at the Castle, I think it was like the most expensive tickets they've ever had for a non-WrestleMania show. It was ridiculous. So
yeah, you have to be careful. You don't want to price the fan out, then you start to lose it. So
yeah, and you are right, Kevin. WWE does own part of All American Beer.
Well, and I heard Triple H might use those boos to his advantage, so they might go heel Hogan here, and it'll be the real un-American beer.
So. that could be, but I think we can all agree. We were referencing the '92 Rumble earlier too. Please, for the love of everything, we do not want to see Ric Flair have one more match or appear in the 2025 Royal Rumble.
Flair Hogan at the end, the last two. The Walker match.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, Penta is fast. Those of you that don't know who in the heck is Penta, so Penta was part of a very successful tag team. You could say one of the best 3 tag teams in professional wrestling history, easily, with Ray Phoenix. Ray Phoenix is not there with him because he got injured for about a year, and there's some backstory there that I won't get into. But because he was injured for a year, Tony McMahon did not let him out of his contract and actually added a year injury time to his contract. So Ray Phoenix, even though he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, on the planet, I should say, in the galaxy, he is being kept off TV on purpose, so that way that he doesn't get put over from other promotions. And when he does come to WWE, it's inevitable. Probably at the end of this year, they don't want him out there until last possible time. So it's pretty ugly what's going on there right now. But that's okay. Penta on his own right now is going to work, and eventually you'll have his tag team partner. So yes, they bring out Flair as number 31.
What made AEW good was the new faces that they had, the things they were bringing, the people that people didn't know they wanted to see, the shock value of what those people could do that WWE wasn't letting them do, and now I think they're ruining it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there was, and they sprinkled in the ex-WWE guys, but they didn't. Now it's like we got to get everyone, and there's a reason why some are mistakes. There's some people let go, like your Drew McIntyres, obviously your and others through the years that were let go that should have never been let go. But there's a reason some of these people are being let go, and they're just taking all of them. They're basically duplicating the Hurt Business with the Hurt Syndicate. There's no creativity there.
It's like go ahead.
And I was just say their storylines have gotten to the point where literally all they do is they saw each other in the back on Collision, so they're going to get their revenge this Wednesday on Dynamite. Like, that's their story. And those of you watching the AEW product too, they've spent months on this dead storyline with Jon Moxley and his crew, and basically all anti-AEW, and they're going to destroy AEW from within. They really have done absolutely nothing other than say those words and stuff. But now they just released a 12-person tag match where they're going to be teaming with Chris Jericho and 2 others in a 12-man tag, which makes absolutely no sense because they're anti-AEW, but now they're teaming with AEW talent. So even your AEW fans right now are getting frustrated. And I saw a number that their Collision show this Thursday has less than 1,300 tickets sold. I guess they're doing it on Thursday because of the playoffs. I'm not sure, but yeah, that would never happen in WWE. 1,300 tickets sold. So
it's like Tony sleeping and he's hearing Raw or something play in the background, and then he wakes up and he's like, "I got a great idea. There's a couple of African American superstars that Vince didn't like or Triple H didn't like, or it wasn't working. So let's bring them here. It'll work here. If it didn't work there, it's not going to work here." And I think like Andy Reid used to do that with quarterbacks, man. He would send them on over to the Washington Redskins at the time, and then they wouldn't do nothing. They would be fairly decent, but they would get hurt. And it's like he saw something we didn't see. So
yeah, no, that's excellent. That's so true. And that was a tough Penta, man, that looked brutal. Those that were watching Penta, you don't want him injured as night 1, but I'm glad they're getting significant amount of time here. Crowd is into it.
He reminds me of, do you remember the chairman at WCW?
Yes, La Parka.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah.
The chairman. So that's WCW was okay then, like high flying luchadors and stuff. It was that actually gave way to WWE's cruiserweight division for a while.
Yes, and
Baron Corbin,
pop
the
up.
lone wolf.
Someone was released. We got to sign him too.
I mean, he needs a check, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Unhappy Corbin.
Unhappy. I don't know how they dropped the ball on him so many times. I feel like there was something there. They couldn't connect.
When I first saw the deep six, I'm like, yeah, you're not getting up from that. Like, that's a crazy move. Like, just the way he did it, the speed at which he did it.
Yeah. And Kurt Angle can say in all his interviews that he's not upset about that's how his last match. But, I mean, come on. The entire roster they had at their disposal, and that was the guy in like 6 minutes to end Kurt Angle's career.
Well, and if it would have propelled him somewhere or did something for him or got him a championship or brought him to that next level, I can see you being okay with it, because as an older wrestler, I think that's what you want to do, is shape the legacy of somebody else, help them get over, and nope.
Yeah. Yep. And I won't repeat the word. And yes, Aileen, she mentioned she likes the sling blade move. It's an amazing move. But you could hear the crowd chanting something, and I'm not going to repeat what it is, but that would be edited out on other cable networks. Let's just say that. So props to Netflix for that, I guess. They could keep their PG rating with a little bit of discretion on their end.
Yeah, I think you have to be careful with that too, because the parents buy the T-shirts, so they don't want their kid coming into them. F Solo, like no.
Yeah, and speaking of which, we won't get into it too much. And I see your comment about let's not talk about Donovan McNabb, but just for a sidebar, those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, on one of the commercial breaks, go ahead and look it up. There was an incident at the Eagles-Packers game yesterday. Oh, and that was a 2 count, where a fan said the most ridiculously obnoxious, disgusting thing to a female Packers fan that didn't do anything wrong other than just sit there. And a lot of people were upset at the husband for not striking back and all this stuff, but he recorded everything, and now there's this like manhunt on social media trying to identify who this person is and where he works and what he does, and just insane. So if you get some time, definitely check into that. But it was pretty disgusting.
You lose your sense of self when you do that, and it just that might ruin your life, that one viral moment, or you're upset about that game. And I think they won that game, so I'm not sure what he was doing.
No, and speaking of which, and then I think I saw AJ Brown. He only had 1 catch or something, and it was for 10 yards. And instead of being happy they get the win, he's just sitting there, just distraught and upset.
So there's that thing about him reading the book too, and it's so funny. We like to dive into everything and turn it into something that he's not. And he's like, I like reading. Like, well, I don't care. You're still getting paid, and you won the game. So he'll go out and have a blowout game next game.
Yes.
And I'm not an Eagles fan at all.
No.
They're going to play the winner of this game, the Vikings and the Rams. So that'll be interesting. Commanders, Lions, Texans, did not see that coming. They got a big matchup. And then who's the Bills and I thought the Broncos struck fast, but God, they went down fast too.
Very quickly. Yeah. Yeah, that Bills Raven games to me is going to be the game of the week for me. Nice move by Penta there.
The Ravens Steelers game, I was surprised the Steelers actually put 14 on them.
Yes, it was too. That was the Mexican destroyer. Only a 2. Interesting. I would have been out for a 52 count on that one.
I'm not big on the play the leg so much. I get it's a wrestling thing, the shoulder, the leg, the whatever, that'll carry the whole match, and then you'll do incredible things off your broken leg. But sometimes they just do it too much.
That was called the Mexican destroyer. That's what that was called. Mexican destroyer. Not to be confused with the regular destroyer.
It only destroys Mexicans. It's not good.
But the crowd thinks it was awesome, so I agree. It was awesome.
I don't know. I just got a red circle, so I see nothing that is awesome here. Just a red circle.
Just the red circle? That's all. Oh.
Yeah.
Has it been coming in and out,
right now? Yeah, it's hit and miss over here. Which I have pretty good Wi-Fi. It's usually not that bad. But the football games were doing the same thing, and I was getting mad, so I didn't like that. Not upset, but like, come on.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing too. All the pay services, and we're going to have to get all this stuff. So they're going to have to step up their game if they want people to pay for it, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Looks for the ankle lock. So they've officially gone over the 10-minute mark. So that's awesome.
That is, you want to make sure you have a good introduction. You don't want to ruin him, but you want to show that he can give as much as he can take.
Yeah, because I never want to see that. I do not like squash matches. I know there's a purpose for enhancement talent and things like that, but
do you think they buried Kofi on purpose with the Brock Lesnar thing?
Yes, I think Brock just got whatever. Like whatever reason,
Yeah.
Brock got whatever he wanted.
So I heard some stories about Hogan like that as well.
Yes. And there's stories out there about John Cena as well. I don't know how much of that I believe. There was one with Alex Riley. Oh. The Penta driver for the win. And to nobody's surprise, but Penta is undefeated here on Raw.
Undefeated? The Goldberg streak is broken. Penta will now be the guy.
It's tough to beat Goldberg streak because Goldberg would be 42-0 on a Thunder, but 57-0 on Nitro. And
well, he had 82 dark matches.
Yes, he had 4 dark matches at his high school gym, but
at his high school gym. Say hi, puppy dog. Say hi. You see him?
Yeah, I saw it for a second. Yep.
Big old goofy guy. I love him.
But that was the Penta driver for the win.
So it's just a whole different element.
Those are his daughters in the front row, the ones crying. Oh, we're going to get an interview here. That's interesting. Okay, I did not see that coming. And thanks to the 6 more of you have just jumped in here. So thank you guys for jumping in. Don't be shy. Don't let Kevin do all the work. He's doing an awesome job.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that stuff.
All that stuff. I love Chad, but Penta had some killer moves. This is the first time I've ever seen him wrestle. Let's see. This is the first time we're going to hear him talk. Let's see if he's got a British accent. I'm going for British accent here. Oh.
Yeah, I like it. He's better than Dom.
If you just got here, drop a thumbs up. Yes, please. Pile drive that like button. Get double points if you hit the like button extra hard.
Little disclaimer: we will not buy you a new phone. That is all on you. So pile drive at your own will.
Right.
You get like a flip phone. We can send you a flip phone with candy in it, and it doesn't work.
Yes. He wants to say something. Let's let him talk.
Yeah, I figured that.
I think he said, I'm ready for this moment. Oh, I've been waiting for this moment. Okay.
This is where subtitles are awesome.
I can't remember him getting allowed to speak in AEW.
I don't think I've ever heard him speak, to be honest with you, except for like a yelling at somebody.
If I could see an Andrade Penta storyline, I would be all for that.
I think they've been dropping the ball with Andrade. I'd like to see.
They have. I really didn't think that they would, but they have, and I think they'll right the ship with that. It's just I think they got to get him on the right show and find the right guy.
So, like, coming out with that mask, I'm like, yep, this dude's gonna do something. Like, he just looks so cool with that mask on, and then nope, nothing.
Yep, nope. Yes, new era. Not like Tony Khan's new era.
So the tag team division has been getting a lot of play lately, more so on SmackDown, but definitely getting a lot more play.
Yep.
I like that sign.
Penta new era. Is Penta going to be in the Royal Rumble? That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't. I give him like maybe 1 or 2 throwouts. He should stay in there for 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah. He could
Who's
be
gonna
that
the
guy that
next
comes
big
in at number
challenge?
2 that lasts for 52 minutes or something like that.
I like Corey Graves, though. I thought he was good too. So
He'll get a push when Charlotte comes back. They'll have no choice. Yeah, Charlotte gets what she wants. That's a good one.
Oh man,
Robot Flair, Charlotte.
Robot
All right.
Flair. All right, business is about to pick up.
What is he wearing? Okay. Carlito went with the green apple today, folks. Just a heads up. Carlito's got a green apple tonight. That's
Granny
about as
Smith
exciting
kinda
as he's
night.
been. I was watching an old Rumble the other day, and Liv Morgan came in at number 3 with the Riot Squad and got eliminated in less than 4 seconds. So it's amazing to see how far she's come.
She's got a documentary out there, and it's short. It like doesn't really cover the championship years, but it's pretty good for a little background on her, stuff you might not have known about her.
Yes.
I think I was waiting on a pay-per-view to come on, so I was like, whatever, we'll just a pay-per-view. We don't even called that anymore. Just begging your mom, come on, please buy WrestleMania. Stop spending $50 on a TV program.
They look like extras from Beetlejuice. Good call. Good call.
Oh, she's gonna do him dirty.
Oh.
That was
Poor Dum Dum.
yes, something.
Beetlejuice. Yep. Now I don't know what happens after tonight with Damian Priest and Finn Balor. They're gonna have to move on, do something. I believe Finn Balor should be. I remember he defeated Roman Reigns on Raw in I think it was a triple threat match. Like he had such a promising career ahead of him as Universal Champion, WWE Champion. Got injured, and it's just he's just kind of been around. He's never boring. He's not stale. He's just not quite met to the level that we thought he would just yet. So
he's been like right here on the last couple ones. I felt like he could have got any one of those matches, and he didn't. And since like Kevin Owens and him, and they kind of even played that storyline on TV a little bit.
Yep.
But he wasn't the first Universal Champion. Kevin Owens was, or was it Finn? Finn was the first Universal. They both got hurt. I know that.
Yeah. Yep. And we are getting Sheamus in one-on-one action here against Ludwig Kaiser. So these two like to beat each other up for minutes on end. It is what it is. We've seen this match a couple times before, but it's always entertaining. So those of you that have not got to see this, strap in. This is going to be brutal. It's going to be a lot of choppage going on, a lot of steel steps involvement, perhaps some Braun Breaker involvement. I'm not quite sure. But
I would not bring the shillelagh out. He keeps getting beat up with his little shillelagh stick there. I would leave it in the back.
Yes, and Finn was the first Universal champ, I think, for 24 hours, and then that's
it was pretty bad. It was the all red belt back then, and then Kevin got it, and he got hurt, and it was just like that was the start. And like the pop-up power bomb back then was like the finisher. You were done, and now it's like it's a 2 count move.
Yep. Yeah, certain finishers are not protected. Like we've seen Sami Zayn win with the Blue Thunder Bomb maybe twice. Like people just kick out of that left and right, and it used to be one of his finishers. But yes, Sheamus is going to be red by the end of this thing. I'd love to see like a red-o-meter for Sheamus. Like they have the crowd noise.
The slap-o-meter.
Yes, never fails with him.
There was a video on YouTube today, and the guy was asking him, I want to say it was Chris Van Fleet, and he was like, when did you start being so white? And he's like, I used to try to get tan and not be all red. And the guy's like, what are you doing? Like, you're the only Irish guy that looks Irish. Like, stop doing this. So a friend of his was like, be pasty, be that guy, be out there, be all redheaded. So he was like, ran with it. And he had a heck of a run. He was a champion. John Cena and Miz were champs back then. I beat all of them up. Surprised he hasn't gotten an Intercontinental Championship. Maybe he can go for the women's one. and then check that off. So
Yeah, that is
China
true.
can win the men's, he can win the women's. So
He could,
equal
yes.
opportunity.
Yeah, equal. Yep.
End of the first quarter, we're at 10-0. The Rams just whooping up on the 14-3 Minnesota Vikings.
So you said 10-0?
10-0.
Minnesota, or
Second
10
quarter
10-0 in
starting.
favor of the Rams, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford and the Rams up 10-0 on the Minnesota Vikings, who are coming in at are they number 5? I think they're the number 5 seed.
Yeah. So I think finished at 13-3 with the 5 seed. They didn't
14-3
in that season finale with Detroit at all.
Yeah.
And if they go down, win or lose, regardless of the final score, even if they go down 52-51, if they don't get out with a win, then there's going to already be some questions on QB and whatnot. I think, it's tough to play, and they're playing in Arizona tonight, not in LA, of course. With everything.
Okay, so they just got a field goal, 3-10. See, they heard you talking about them. They knew you were disappointed. They wanted to.
Okay.
Wanted to make sure you were happy. So,
and I think, like
there
you
you
mentioned,
go.
we're definitely getting Detroit next week at Washington, correct? Or Washington at Detroit.
Yep.
So
it's the 8:00 game again, but it's on Saturday. So the Eagles in the winner of this game, Texans, Chiefs, and Bills, Ravens. The Bills Ravens one should be a powerhouse game. Lots of running. Josh Allen throwing some crazy passes, lots of scrambling. Derrick Henry is just a beast, a semi-truck of a guy.
Well, and those that don't know Derrick Henry, or those that don't know fantasy football, you normally don't want to have a quarterback and running back. And I was talking to Edwin about this yesterday. Normally, you don't want to have quarterback and running back, right? Because they kind of don't. But if there's going to be a tandem to do that with, that would be the tandem, because Derrick Henry and and Lamar Jackson were a powerhouse group there. Let me see here. So we are all right. And I'm not sure who just got another subscribe notification. So thank you, random subscriber. We appreciate you.
Ding! Do you have a sound yet? We need a sound. You got to have a sound like
do the sound. Yeah, I have no idea how to do that. I'm learning on the fly here, but if you know, put it in the comments. I'll figure it out.
You get like the ding, right? The ding when he does it.
Yep.
And then like
one thing,
the 2000 sound be?
Yep. And one thing we'll be sharing here as we get closer to 1650, the big 2000 mark. And so we'd love to do something. I'll keep you guys posted. We'll do some sort of, once we get close to that number, if you will post in the comments and social media, Facebook, you tag anybody that has yet not to subscribe, and we get them to subscribe. You'll be in the running for some Around the Ballpark merchandise on me. We'll get that as we get towards 2000. So nothing too fancy, but just a little token to one winner, not multiple winners. So one winner for that. So, but
we don't got the budget for that.
No, we don't have the budget for that. Yes.
But if you want to subscribe and you want to sponsor Around the Ballpark, how would you do that, Mike?
Yes. You should play the Right to Censor theme when you get a subscriber. Yeah. Or the Spirit Squad. Either way, we'll get there. Now, they're showing Braun Breaker in the crowd, and one thing didn't really get talked too much about last week, but how frustrating it was to see Cody Rhodes sitting in the front row. He didn't get his full entrance. He got the half 4-second run to the ring entrance, but I feel like they did him wrong again last week for not letting him in that moment. He is your biggest draw right now, maybe outside of Jey Uso. In terms of popularity, he should have gotten a full entrance on that show. So I was disappointed with that, but
it's weird we have to rebuild Roman Reigns. Like, you would think he'd walk right back in and be the top guy, but they're kind of having to rebuild him. I don't.
Yeah, so we got Ludwig Kaiser, Tiffy Times boyfriend. I'm sure they're going to be on the same show at some point, but
big cash in from her, so that was huge.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if she's a heel, face, whatever it is. I don't think it matters if it's working. Everything they're doing with her is working. So
a ton of female talent to come back to. So that'll happen over the next month or two, I think. And then as Elimination Chamber gets here, they might put in another one. We might find out who hurt Jade Cargill. So that's big. The women's division actually doing fairly well right now, I think.
Yeah, and this year is the year where we don't need to see a Nikki Bella, a Kelly, a Molly Holly, Jolly Holly in the Royal Rumble this year. There's enough talent in NXT that if there are any gaps for the main roster, that those should be the people filling them. Your Cora Jades, your Roxanne Perez, your Lola Vices. Those should be the people filling in those Rumble spots. We don't need to go back to yesteryear. Okay, one or two are fine, but we don't need to rely heavily on your Michelle McCools and your Laylas and all those people. So
yeah, absolutely not. Like Jordan Grace, I think that was huge. Like bringing that cross talent and showing you're willing to work with those other companies to do something like that.
And she's as good as out. I believe she's got a TNA match against Tessa Blanchard for the title. When she loses that match, she'll be at the Royal Rumble for sure, and on the WWE roster. So with all the people coming back, I think that's why they had to strike with the Intercontinental and the U.S. Championships, because there's just too much talent. You can't just keep throwing random tag matches, makeshift tag teams together. So.
It's gotta mean something.
Just joined us as Heather Laraquente is here. Heather, I'm not sure if you got hear this yesterday, but with the big game on January 20th with Ohio State and Notre Dame, we'd love to have you and Mark on perhaps on the 19th night before for a little bit. We do have a guest for that podcast. We'd love to have you on for a little bit if you're available next Sunday, just to talk a little bit about Notre Dame, Ohio State, because I know that's important to both of you in your household, in your home, on different sides of on that. So if you're interested, just let me know, Heather. We'll love to have you guys on and chat that before the national championship next week. So
JD Vance said he might miss the inauguration to watch the game. So gonna just skip that. Not that important to watch the national championship. So like that is huge. Notre Dame to be back in there is huge. They had a rough couple of years and they got right back to the top. Ohio State under Ryan Day, this was kind of make or break. So
yeah, and one thing that was shared last night in the podcast with Darren was, and I wasn't even aware that all four number one seeds, or the top four seeds, not all four number one seeds, the top four seeds were all out in the first round.
Everybody that got a bye was sent home. So the 12-team playoff, I'm not sure how successful it was, but I like to see more teams in there than less. I think it definitely made it more interesting. And the bye week might not be a good thing. And we'll see that with the Lions and the Chiefs, whether it was or not. A lot of commentators were 3 weeks off the Chiefs have had. So will that be an advantage or a disadvantage? I'm not sure. Patrick Mahomes, he already owns all the refs. So
yeah, I love the reel. I think it was with the Chiefs instead of Chiefs it had refs in the end zone. And Heather says go Buckeyes. So that is the 20th. That is a week from tonight. So we might have people watching that instead of us here or watching Raw. That is it. Yeah. So Monday Night Raw is done with the Monday Night Football competition, but now next Monday they have to deal with the National Football game. They don't quite escape it just yet, but
and now like with your phone, so you can have Raw on your phone, have Ohio State on the TV, and either or. Some people have the man cave with 10 TVs. I don't have that. I want that, but I don't have that. So like streaming is so prevalent right now. You can watch both for sure.
Right, and what all of America should be doing before they watch the championship game is logging on to the podcast, hitting the like button, and then just minimizing it, and then you can comment during the commercial breaks. But it's okay. There's grace. You'll get there. But so
that is genius. That is genius right there. Genius level thinking. So like, subscribe, follow, keep us minimized, and then pull us up on the commercial.
Yes.
Or have that third device with Around the Ballpark.
Yes. And we're at the 1 hour mark, and just like last week, we are still just one match. Well, we're in our second match, but only one. So those of you see the banner there, the live results, that's all we got for you is Penta defeating Chad Gable. I understand if this were AEW, they'd be on match 6 right now. But WWE likes to slow things down a little bit. So, hopefully they find a medium, because I do feel like there should be some more matches than 4 in a 3 hour show. So we'll see tonight how that goes. But
Very surprising to see the interviewer go in the ring right after the Penta match. I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah, I was a
Ludwig,
little
I
afraid
think.
because sometimes they give the mic to someone they shouldn't, but I think that was a big moment. Like Kevin said earlier, the daughters are in the crowd and families in the crowd. So, but this is match number 4. It's not a series, but match number 4 between Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. With, like they said earlier, Sheamus is up 2-1 in that feud. And don't forget, guys, too, we are just over 2 weeks away from the Royal Rumble on February the 1st. So that'll be awesome. Definitely don't want to miss out on that. This is the first time it's ever not been in January, so that's a little bit odd, but that's okay. We can wait one extra day.
So WrestleMania season's officially here, but it kicks off after the winner of the Royal Rumble is announced. After we see that guy get the crown, then we know one main event, but not all the main events, because who knows how many there will actually be. It was weird last year with the whole Rock Roman night 1 played into night 2. Will that happen again? I'm not sure.
Yeah. And I just saw on the screen that The Miz and Sami Zayn was added for tonight, so maybe I missed that, but apparently they're having a match tonight, so we'll see what happens there. And thinking of The Miz, like with the Wyatt 6, very interesting to see. Like, I loved their debut, and I knew they weren't going to be on every week, but I really am starting to get concerned, like, with their just on again, off again. There's just no consistency with them. I'm not saying we need to see them every week, but I'm not digging what they're doing with them right now.
Not at all. The debut is phenomenal. I like the build. Maybe a week or so too long for me, but I think it worked. I think the characters play out very well. A little movie-esque there, the debut with the whole Chad Gable got shot thing. But wow, way to hit it out of the ballpark, WWE. I heard we were going to see him tonight. So.
And a fun fact, we haven't had a fun fact in a while, but I have sources who know sources who know sources, and this is pretty cool. If you are a Halloween Horror Nights fan, I have it on very good source that there will be a Wyatt 6 haunted house this year at Halloween Horror Nights. So just throwing that out there from an inside source, we should say. So we'll see if that actually happens, because they change their mind very often, but it is very possible that actually happens this year. So
I think it's such a good idea, and I don't think you want it overused. You don't want it to go out, but you have to keep it fresh. So they do need to do something with it very soon to keep it fresh.
Yes.
They're on a lot of dark shows.
Yeah. No. And there's not. And yeah, because there's no house shows up until mid-March, and when they go overseas for the international tour. So, which some talent are happy about, and others not so much, because you're not on TV as often, and you're not in front of the fans as often and things like that. You're home more, which is great, but
I think that's a pretty cool move by them to shorten the shows. But if it's costing them that paycheck, so
yeah,
it really. But to put family first is huge. That is one of the things. Like, this is the first time I've seen a Jaden Daniels interview where God wasn't the first thing, but it was the second thing. Again, just a phenomenal guy, a heck of a year. And I think Triple H is doing the right thing. Family first. God first,
right.
family on your job.
I think, you do the summer run, you do a long winter run, you do the spring run. Like, you can have a couple big 2-3 week tours, with a couple of days off in between, but it doesn't need to be the entire year. But again, like, in the years that we're starting to overpay some people and whatnot, you have someone like Mercedes Moné in AEW who's getting paid over $3 million a year, well over $3 million a year, to not do very much at all. And Sheamus gets the win. That is officially win number 3 for Sheamus over Ludwig Kaiser. Surprised a little bit by that, but I would like to see a Sheamus Intercontinental title win at WrestleMania against Braun Breaker. I know we've seen that before, but I'd like to see them wheel that back into it for sure, and have that's the one title that has eluded him. So
Sheamus is ridiculous. He is a fun guy. Maybe he's fighting Pat McAfee at WrestleMania. Oh, man.
Yeah,
hey.
We got spoiled with Logan Paul and Bad Bunny, but Pat McAfee had some amazing matches as well. Oh, and Braun Breaker, I forgot, is there.
I mean, speak of the devil, there he is. Yep.
Oh, I truly believe this one referee will be able to separate the two. I have all the confidence in the world in WWE security. They are always on it.
That must be the strongest ref ever. Sometimes it takes 6 and they can't do it. So, remember Rick Boogs?
Yes.
I thought that guy was going to be pretty good too. The name was horrible, but I thought he was going to be okay.
Yeah. And they just announced Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins for next week. So that's a big money match on free TV.
So 2 hours to go. How do you feel about the 3-hour Raws? I know we've only had one, but how do you feel about it?
Well, I'll say this. The 3-hour SmackDown, although I didn't watch all of it, was not good. If that's the way they're going to present their 3-hour shows, and I did see already that they're already talking about going to 2 hours. So, but the 3-hour Raw, I think, is a must. I thought I would like 2 hours better, but I did not enjoy a single 2-hour episode of Raw from October to December. Now, when I say I didn't enjoy it, it wasn't that I didn't like the show. It's just it wasn't complete. And so I think I would love, honestly, a 2.5 hour show is probably the way to go. And now that they're on Netflix,
rushed.
They could end whenever they want. I mean, they could go to off air right now if they wanted to.
Yeah, it just seemed like there wasn't enough room to develop anything. They were trying to get through stuff fast. The matches were too fast. The talking segments were a little bit too long. The match was too fast.
Yeah.
I know, and SmackDown didn't really have anybody. Like, it kicked off really well with Paul Heyman, I thought, calling out Cody Rhodes, and then Kevin Owens coming out. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And then it just ended with a non-important match.
Yes. So we got Gunther walking to the ring. Now, again, with Cody and Gunther, I can't see them. I just think Gunther should move to SmackDown, but we'll see what happens here, which way Gunther is going to go. Doesn't really have a direction right now.
Nothing.
I'm like, do we get a title match at the Rumble? Does he just sit there in a chair like this? We know Cody Rhodes has the match. I can't remember the last time both had a match at a big pay-per-view. So, but as we go to commercial break, just want to shout out a couple episodes to come here. We do have a week from last night, so 6 nights away on the Around the Ballpark podcast. We will have true crime author David Crow. He is an award-winning memoir author of The Pale-Faced Lie, so he will be on with us. We're going to talk a little bit sports and related to sports and the reservations and the 1950s, and so a little bit different of a twist of an episode. So we want to make sure you're here for that one next Sunday night if you're not watching the Sunday night football game. If you are, we understand. But that will take place on the 19th of January. And then, of course, we will be live once again next Monday night. We'll let you know who the co-host is, but we'll be here for episode 3 of Raw on Netflix. And also super excited, the first Sunday of February. Those of you familiar with Z88.3 and Hot 95.9, we will have on the Around the Ballpark podcast, the executive producer of Z88.3, Sarita Brown, will be with us. She was one of the figureheads that came to our family Christmas extravaganza. Her and the team, it was an awesome partnership. You guys rocked it. We had such a good time, and looking forward to building again this year's event in 2025. So super excited to have her on and talk about Z88.3. They're going to be out in Orlando at Universal Studios here in just a couple of weeks. I'll be there as well, so I'll get to see you, Zoraida, for a little bit. We'll be at Rock the Universe. They got that the final weekend. I've never been, so this will be the first time that I've got to attend Rock the Universe at Universal Orlando. So excited for that. We're going to be going on Friday night, the 24th. I believe we have Phil Wickham and Brandon Lake and a couple others as well. So super excited. Have you ever got to attend that before?
I have not, but both great artists. Something I definitely would like to attend. So,
yeah, I think so. They have a Friday and a Saturday night lineup. We got the Friday night ticket. So for that lineup, they have like the main stage, and then they have some side stages as well. But read the list here real quick. It's Brandon Lake, Matthew West. Sorry. It's Brandon Lake, Matthew West, Katie Nicole, Ren Collective, KB will be there as well. Tasha Layton, Aaron Cole, and 2 people I've never heard of. So you definitely don't want to miss that. So I'm going to be there for that. So sometimes the people you've never heard of turn out to be some of the best performers. A lot of times you go to a concert for the headliner and you fall in love with someone that is opening for them. So Eileen asked, did they just set up a feud between Sammy and Seth? I think right now, it's interesting that Drew is going to be facing Seth next week because they feel like Seth and Drew are on the same, and Kevin Owens, like the 3 of them could almost be a stable where anyone that's associated with Roman Reigns is my enemy. Anyone that's associated with the Usos is my enemy. And so I feel like right now that's what it's sort of like a feud, but it's basically, hey, you teamed with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is my enemy, so now you're my enemy as well. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting with that.
The use of Gunther, I'm just puzzled as how there wasn't a championship fight last week, or there isn't one this week, and not one set up for next week. So,
yeah, I'm surprised by that. I don't know which way I guess if I guess his title will be, because you can't not have him have a title match at Elimination Chamber as well. So I don't know what's going on here.
Speaking of the Wyatt Six.
Yep. I remember I was happy to see that one episode where we saw Bo Dallas in Adam Pearce's office, and then nothing really became of that after that.
It seemed like that was such a good setup too. And when Gable comes out, he's like, I know who it is.
Yeah.
I know who it is. Like, I'm just dying. Like, all right, buddy.
But Karrion Kross is doing some of his best work. Unfortunately, his best work's not been in the ring, but he's really good at these backstage segments.
Yeah, they have to find the perfect thing for him. And I think like a drawn-out feud like this could be pretty good.
Yeah. The Miz loves to refer to his 2 title runs and his main event match against John Cena at WrestleMania. You can't not say that in every promo that he has.
I think he's going to name his latest child my 2 main event matches against John Cena that I won.
Yes.
So funny that he was like such a main event star and he's still relevant today. This is a big one right here, this guy.
Yeah.
So big win for him. Obafemi.
Yep.
Just huge.
And I almost forgot that he was the NXT champion because he was NXT North American champion for quite a while. But
who did he drop that to? Gosh,
I feel it was Tony DeVito. I was going to say Tony DeVito.
Yeah, yep.
Tony
no,
D'Angelo.
You're right.
Tony
Yeah,
D'Angelo.
Tony D'Angelo. The family.
Yes. Tony DeVito,
so
I think he's in ALW now. So they have their big 8th year anniversary show next month. So
they do. Shout out to ALW. Any local thing like that, I think, is super cool. I really hope they do something with Gunther here.
That's going to be a big show for them. They've got Kurt Angle, Shelton Benjamin, and Kevin Nash all going to be at that show. So that's huge.
So let's pimp them up real quick. There's meet and greet tickets and all that good stuff. So if you're an ALW fan, they're like in a whole new era thing too. So you should check them out. Like now's the time if you haven't been there.
Yeah, now's the time for sure to check them out. And I think there's some tickets available general admission, but they're almost sold out completely. They're really doing a great job. I mean, he is doing a fantastic job with the promotions and all that stuff. So definitely.
You can tell he lives and breathes that. And I think, we do as fans too. And as a promoter, I think that's a whole different side of that business that, I don't know. I like to think I could do it, but I probably couldn't.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah. What do you call it? I think I saw there's a big 4-way match at that hardcore match, I believe it is, with our good buddy El Ridiculoso is in that one. So
El Ridiculoso. I saw him not too long ago, as a matter of fact. So
yes.
Tried to get him to take his mask off. No go.
This wouldn't do it.
So,
It's just stuck there. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm waiting on his brother I heard there was a story where he has a brother, a mystery brother. It was like some house fire. So I'm waiting on him to come out, El Crazio. So he's going to come out and turn on him. We'll see if that happens or not. What happened to Da Vinci?
So now, Gunther being out here, this has got to lead to something.
Yeah, somebody's coming out.
Who's the head of the table? Who's the best in the world? He's not entering the Royal Rumble. That's not happening unless he wants Cody's gold as well. But he already lost to Cody. So
yeah, they got that crazy.
And I really,
all right.
I have to say this though. Well, now Jey Uso's already declared for the Royal Rumble, so they're not going Rumble there. But this would
you got Saturday Night Main Event.
Yeah, this would be the preferred main event for WrestleMania or title match would be Jey Uso and Gunther. I would love to see Jey win it at WrestleMania in Las Vegas. That would be fantastic. But I have to say, Gunther has still only got 2 losses on the main roster, but it feels like more that loss to Cody Rhodes. I get why they did that at the Crown Jewel with the Green Championship and the whatever. I really think that did more harm than good. As we're sitting here a few months back reflecting on that, Gunther didn't need that loss. He would still just have the 1 loss to Sami Zayn. I think it already diminished what we already thought was the secondary title, and it didn't need to be that way. They imagine how much stronger he would look right now if that loss didn't happen. I know they needed to fill a match. It was Saudi Arabia. They could have just done a 6-man match and everyone would have been happy. So nothing really came out of that Green Championship match. So.
Yeah, they could have made Cody lose in a respectable way. I often get like that, like, I could have wrote the ending better. The ending of that match is just like,
but man, you can't. Yeah, you can't. What Jey Uso has done, he needs his moment in shot because Eileen mentioned there, Uso, like you can't not be enthralled to be that environment, that energy that he brings each and every night. I do feel bad for Jimmy, but Jey deserves this moment here.
To see the last 4 years, Jimmy gets hurt, and then he becomes main event Jey Uso and pretty much makes Roman Reigns the island of relevancy, and all that comes off of Jey Uso being like, I can beat you. It's like, you ain't nothing. And then I brought you to the table. So, and now they're all eating. Merchandise. Like, what would be the Gunther t-shirt? Just a big G or something? Gunther.
And that, Ludwig's still doing his thing here on Raw, but their other guy, Giovanni Vinci, just didn't pan out too well. They changed his look up on SmackDown. They dropped the ball on that one.
The build up, like for 3 weeks, and then like the 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yep. And what this Yeet chant is doing is it's replacing the Stone Cold What chant. That's actually gone away now and been replaced with Yeet. So really was surprised to not see Stone Cold on that first Netflix episode. I know they had a lot of star power already. So I hope we do get to see him in some capacity sooner than later.
That is, unique that you mentioned that because he was in WrestleMania, I don't want to say last year, but the year before that with Kevin Owens and the Kevin Owens show and all that fun stuff. And they didn't even know if
his Stone Cold podcast were great. They kind of stopped that, started that off and on again.
Oh, yeah, those were good.
You got to love the captions as I'm watching this with volume.
A great podcast.
Yes. I'm watching the captions on the episode, and I love how it says, crowd yells yeet. Like, just.
All right, so let me ask you this, right? When I turn on Peacock in the football game, I cannot turn off captions on Peacock for some reason. So it always covers the score. It just drives me crazy.
Yeah, the one thing that yes, and what the worst is baseball. Like, so if I watch a Mets game a few minutes after it started or whatever, like your eyes go to the ticker, at the bottom of the screen, and you can't help, and you're like, oh, ruined, or if you're like, that's the absolute worst. So, a buddy of mine, like we had a login, and so I would always have to go and hide scores. So it does that on the main page, but it doesn't do that on the bottom. You can't. There's no way to avoid that. So you're almost like not trying to look down, but you can't help to look down every once in a while. So
every now and again, I'll DVR the football game and then I'll open ESPN by mistake and see the score. And like, well, do I even want to watch it now? Like, I know what it is.
Yeah,
I don't know. So,
and I believe no change in score since your last update, right? I believe it's still.
We got about 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Minnesota has the ball. The Rams 41 scores the same, 3-10. The Los Angeles Rams leading the Minnesota Vikings in the wild card round. So Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford battling, and so far Matthew Stafford's doing it. What a story! Like to go from Detroit to the Rams, and win it all.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like you heard his name 2 years ago, you're like, yep, towards the end of the career, and now it's just the beginning.
And like weird, right? Because Kurt Warner won it with the St. Louis Rams, and then they're the Los Angeles Rams, and they were the Los Angeles Rams. They went to St. Louis, but they were St. Louis Rams. It's just like such a stupid thing, like with the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns, and how all that unfolded. Just so silly.
So Gunther does what he does best: walk away when someone's asked him for something. He always has to say no. Just got hit in the head with some popcorn. I'm still trying to get used to the short walkway to the ring. Like, I know we don't need Royal Rumble entrances, but length entrances, but it just seems so much shorter than it usually is.
I like the Titantron thing too. I'm not against this new thing, but I just like the old big screen one. So this is like almost WWE Superstars. I've gotten a lot of loading. I don't know if I live in a bad area of town.
I love this promo from Jay, talking about how he's just a tag team guy and not anymore. He's overcome that. He can be a tag team guy. He was a tag team guy. I think they were tag team champions for over 2 years.
Yeah, longest reigning, if I remember correctly. And New Day probably might have the most reigns. Yep.
They had to pass Demolition because, and I think I said this a couple weeks ago, I believe this is the year Demolition should get in.
They definitely should be. They're deserving. They carried that for a little while. I imagine the Hart Foundation is in there. I would think so, right?
Yeah.
They had a lot of good matches with them. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, the Rockers. The Midnight Express was in WWE for a little bit, but they were more so NWA, WCW.
Well, we should talk quickly about some of the really, really bad tag teams. Like, there was a period they had the Heavenly Bodies, they had Well Done, they had the just awful.
The Smoking Guns were I don't know what they were supposed to be. Billy Gunn obviously went on to be the weirdest gimmick ever, Mister.
Yes,
and then what?
Remember Bob Holly before he was Hardcore Holly? He was like race car
Spark
Holly.
Plug. Spark
Bob's
Plug Holly.
Plug. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just saw some of it. They turn into a whole family because there's Crash and there's Molly and and they're all fighting for the hardcore belt and just like, what is happening here?
Yes.
And he was crazy. Like Bob Holly, man, that dude was crazy in the ring. Like when they did those hardcore things, he was whooping people up.
Yep.
Al Snow with head used to with the head.
Oh yes. That went over so quickly. I remember I went to a couple ECW shows, and the crowd was insane with the styrofoam head.
What happened to Perry Saturn though? That might be the worst thing that's ever happened to anybody with the mop and Moppy.
Yes.
And I don't know if it was his wife or his girlfriend, but my goodness,
Moppy, and then I think Chavo Guerrero had the horse Pepe.
Oh, Pepe.
Yeah.
Then I'll watch those gimmick videos, the worst gimmicks, like when they did him as Kerman White or whatever he was in the golf cart, and he had the thing tied, the sweater vest around his neck, and he was disregarding his Hispanic heritage.
And I do. I'm curious. They're showing the package. I would assume this is not the main event, but. I think the Intercontinental title could have been the main event. I don't think these are two women that are top of the card ready. But what is your final pick right now for Lyra Valkyrie and Dakota Kai tonight for the Intercontinental Championship? Who do you take?
I think they have too much invested in Lyra to not let her win. Dakota, I don't think she's had a lot of big moments. She did in NXT, and with Damage Control, she was always just injured. So I think they have a lot invested in Lyra. What title was she holding? I know it was the NXT one, but then she gave it up to fight Becky, I think. Something to that.
Yeah. I think you're right. And I think that's where they're going to go. I think Lyra and Becky is going to be that's where I would slot in at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title, Becky Lynch, Lyra. I think that would be a great way to further that title. I know Becky, some may say that's under Becky, but no, I don't think so. I think, that's a new title with new lineage.
Yeah, you have to do that. That helps the title. Plus, it helps Lyra and it helps everybody coming up too. Oh, so the Rams scored again. That's big.
Okay. And Tevin just joined us, and he says Dakota can't win gold before Io. So, Io did have that SmackDown Women's Championship for quite a while, or I like to call the blue title. But yeah,
that whole thing with Bayley and where Io lost to Bayley because they kicked her out of Damage Control, and then Bayley lost to Nia, and now Bayley's back in the title picture. That was a whole weird little thing. I was trying to figure out who was the champ for, who did she get it from, and who did, and how did, and what. And that whole thing was wacky.
Yeah, and it's hard with this many championships to keep them all relevant. We were talking about AEW earlier, and they have the they have the AEW title, they have the TNT title, they have the Continental, the International. I don't even. I mean, there's just
so many rules.
Yeah, so many, and they just had that big tournament again for the to see who would face for the Continental Classic. That's what it was. Continental Classic. You had to win all these matches, whatever, just for their fourth title. Like it wasn't even for an AEW title shot. It was who can get the fourth biggest championship in the company. So you just forget about it. They have trios championships. Ring of Honor is fighting on AEW. There's no identity with Ring of Honor right now. And Tony's just booking for Tony right now. It's like I've seen a few. I don't want to take credit for this, but a lot of podcasters are right on the money where Tony's just playing with his toys right now. That's really all he's doing at this point.
Well, they have the ring, like the casino ring or whatever it is, the ring that's for a title shot at a certain thing. And there's pay-per-views that are just, if you win this match, then you get a championship shot. So everybody is entitled to a championship shot, but we're going to give it to somebody that you didn't even know was there. So Hangman Page was in it for a while, and then he wasn't. And then it was Mox and whoever he beat up last time, and just so much blood all the time that blood lost all of its effect. And
yeah, and MJF has fallen from grace. He was the number one AEW star with his promos in the ring, everything. And then now, he's on a program with Jeff Jarrett. What is going on right now?
What helped him was his contract being up and the thought that he might. Yeah. And he played that to his advantage so well. And now, oh no, I'm an AEW lifer. Well, I kind of wanted to see you go to the big leagues. So
yeah. And it was asked, have we seen Zilla Fatu and Booker T versus Booker T at Reality of Wrestling? So I did not, but I did see that I believe Booker looked great in that match, which is not a big surprise to me. I know it was age or anything like that, but if you wouldn't mind filling us in how that went, but I know that was happening recently, so I just didn't get to see that. But
was it Booker? King Booker.
Booker, yes, the 5-time. You never. I feel like they couldn't have ever given him a 6th time because that doesn't roll off the. You can't. It's the 5-time. So yeah,
I think somebody said that to him. Chris Van Fleet said that to him. Well, yes. Didn't you win 6 times? He's like, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It was 5.
So. Yeah, it's always going to be 5 times. What a smart guy, to get his wife a contract and bring her in and double the paycheck up.
Yeah.
Thinking.
Yep. Definitely.
So, what do you think about the Intercontinental belts? You think they're better with the blue?
I think I need to see it for a few weeks to really make my decision with that because
So when Jay first brought it out, I was like, oh, that's perfect for him.
Yeah. Right, for him. As long as it's not the WWE, like the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Championship color belts, those were atrocious.
Worst belt design.
Ever.
Those might not have been as bad as the copper ones. Like whenever they brought out the copper ones, I'm like, what happened here?
Like, let's make them blue and red, brother. Like, I just. Now,
Nice.
I do see one issue I have with Larry here, like, or not issue, but like, I know they've invested, like you said, a lot in her, but I worry with the crowd reaction is not quite there. Like, you're looking at the crowd right now, and not a lot of people are reacting, and you want to react either way, in one way or the other, whether you're on your feet, you're booing, you just don't want them to be silent. And it's easy for the internet fans to say they want this one or that one, but when you're watching a crowd in attendance not really doing much, that is a concern. Just like the tandem with Shayna Baszler and Sonya Deville, and then the crowd just doesn't. Yeah, they just don't react at all when they come on the TV. And so
one of my favorites is, and I surprisingly, I think I hated her, is Chelsea Green. She's just become like one of my favorites. She's so entertaining. She can put the crowd anyway. She says the weirdest stuff.
Yes. And yeah, the crowd, and she organically got over, and that's one. Talk about we always love surprises at the Royal Rumble, but I 110% want to see, and I don't know if it's Zack Ryder or if it's going to be Matt Cardona, but I want that moment at the Royal Rumble to see him. I think it's long overdue. He's established himself enough in the independent scene. That would be great.
I think he was on the cusp, but the whole Broski thing was too much. It was too much. So to break out of that was good for him.
Yeah. And you mentioned that not enough, or this crowd doesn't seem to engage. Not enough people were eating. It's definitely a smaller venue than they were just at before, the 17,000. Now they're, it's definitely a smaller venue here. Yes, I've seen a lot more heats. And again, so, this match here, they've got a lot of, it's going to be a challenge to get the crowd invested here. It's probably going to be pretty quiet. And this is a really big moment. Like what we're watching right now, we may not understand like the implications, but like the Intercontinental Championship has so much lineage, and they're right here and right now. The first ever. That's a big moment. And if you would ask me, like these aren't the two that I would have ever thought would be in the finals of that tournament, but here we are.
You have to put them on par with the men, and I think this is a right step in it. But it's going to take time, I think. One of the little weird fun facts is the WNBA has lost money for 25 years. So.
Did she put on Seth Rollins' jacket there, or is that her own? It looks exactly like the one he was wearing.
She's good. I like her as a ring announcer.
Yes, she is, and we all miss Samantha, but she is really good. And she just slid in right nicely and into almost the same voice, almost to an extent. So
yeah, they did good with her, and Samantha I think was crazy talented, and she's going to do good at wherever she goes.
Yes. All right. So the Intercontinental Championship match number 3. We are at 9:33, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the results of the show. If you've missed it, yes, those are the only 2 matches that there has been, which is crazy to me. A lot of interviews and a lot of backstage stuff going on. But so, yes, Penta defeated Chad Gable in a great match. I want to say it was like 14 minutes long. And then Sheamus goes 3-1 now over Ludwig Kaiser. And
Penta cut a nice promo afterwards. That was a good interview. Definitely better than I thought it was going to be. So, super excited.
Yeah, he got a significant amount of time with family in attendance. And Dakota Kai, a similar path with Tegan Knox. Unfortunately, Tegan was released from the company, but Dakota's had quite a few injuries, like you mentioned earlier. But I think they see the talent there and what she can bring. So I'm wondering if there's hesitation putting her in that title spotlight because of her injuries-prone status. So this will go a long way if she can do well here in this showing.
it's never a good thing when you're getting injured a lot, and how do they use you, and how do they keep paying you, and is it worth it? So
yeah, because
got a lot to prove.
Right. If you lose this match, like if you win this match, obviously, okay, that's maybe not the move to do to someone who's injury prone. That was pretty brutal. But if you lose this match, if you win this match, obviously you're in a good path. If you lose this match and you go to the bottom of the, so now all of a sudden you're really, okay, who wants to see the same match again? So this is this is a much needed win for both ladies. But let me just ask you this off the cuff question. So, like, obviously you could be a professional, but if you were told backstage, okay, I am not winning this big match tonight. So let's assume Dakota Kai is not winning the championship. Do you think you could come out to the ring, do everything you got to do, and not show the face of I'm going to lose this match? Because every once in a while you see someone come to the ring. Like the one in particular I'll use was at the Survivor Series, I think it was. LA Knight just had this look on his face, and I'm still surprised he lost, but he had this look on his face like, I'm not winning against Shinsuke tonight. Like, and I don't see it very often, but I noticed it then. Do you think you could pull that off, the poker face, or do you think someone would kind of get an idea that you're not the one walking out with the belt?
I remember whenever we did like our backyard wrestling, we had to pull it out of a hat to see who would win, because we would just keep fighting. You would never let anybody fight. So I think I was okay with it. And we had always established if you were going to be the winner, you were going to take the table shot or the ladder shot or whatever it was. Like you were going to get beat up the most. And then you were going to pull off the win somehow. So I think I would be all right with it. One of the biggest thing is just like, right, because even they look at it is, can you put that opponent over? Because, it's more you selling it and you going with the move. A 300-pound guy can pick up a 100-pound guy, but if you're 300 pounds and the 100-pound guy's trying to pick you up, it's not going to happen if the 300-pounder doesn't want you to. So you have to make that look good, and you have to do that thing, and you have to be in there. And if you're good at that, you will get that opportunity. So you have to take those losses in order to get those wins, but you have to do it the best you can. Like the Shawn Michaels oversell.
Yes.
With Hogan.
Good example. Good example. Yep.
Never be that guy.
Yeah. And you want to win or lose, you want to protect your opponent. You want to protect yourself, of course, but you want to hit your moves. You want to do everything you got to do. Make the other person look good, get the crowd involved, and if you do all that, doesn't matter what your record is at the end of the day. That's what you're trying to accomplish. But we are back from commercial break. Tournament finals, Intercontinental Championship on the line. Those of you that are here, go ahead and throw in the comments who you think is going to win this match. I am going to go with Lyra as well. I would prefer to see Dakota win, but I think there's more of a story to tell for with Lyra winning, especially with, like we said, with Becky Lynch coming back. I think that's the next big feud for Becky.
If Dakota wins, do you think it's over with Damage Control? Do you think that kind of sows that seed?
If she wins, I think if she loses, it could be. I don't know. I think if she wins, I could see them still being a thing, but I don't know. Maybe I'm backwards.
Who's Damage Control now, anyways? It's just two?
Yeah, it's is she still? I think it's just EO
I think so.
Kairi Sane and EO, and Dakota's kind of like a third wheel, but not really.
Well, I think Kairi's hurt. I think, right? I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah,
I think she's hurt. So I think it's just EO and Dakota. So maybe Tevin's right on there, and EO will be like, "That's my goal. I'm going to kick your butt."
Yeah,
maybe that's how EO gets it.
And one thing that's interesting, I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but there was one NXT show that I went to. I got to meet on the same show Aleister Black, Dakota Kai, and Rhea Ripley at the same show. And Dakota Kai and Rhea Ripley are exactly the same height. And you would never believe that watching that on TV at all. It's crazy.
I think we have a wardrobe malfunction.
That what just happened?
I think, a wardrobe malfunction. Then the neck piece of Dakota Kai is broken.
Oh, no.
I hate those Hurricane Ranas that don't turn out, and then the person winds up flipping like 15
seconds.
Yeah,
it doesn't look good when that happens.
Oh,
Mary Ann, Mom gives the wave that she's here. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate
If
you.
you're a Vikings fan, it's not looking good, bud. It's 24-3. It's not
24-3. Wow.
Yeah.
Oof.
Man,
it's
not looking good.
That's surprising to me. As good as they've been all season, like that's really legit surprising to me. Now, DeLon, if you're watching, I'm sure he's very happy right now because they were writing his team off very early.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, DeLon, if you are watching, big shout, congratulations. That's like you said, I think they were 1-4 or 1-3, and they were basically eliminated from most people's eyes, but they finished strong. So
it was looking bad. Sean McVay over there is a heck of a coach. Coach.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully, if the stars align, maybe they can somehow get a home game at some point. But I always wanted to see, and I know it'll never happen, but and I know the wrestling match is on here, but I always wanted. That was interesting. I always wanted to see a 6 seed get a home game in the playoffs. I don't know why. Like I want to see the 7 seed have to go on the road and play the 6 seed, just because like if you're a 6 seed, you're never expecting to have a home game in the playoffs.
The basketball finals 2 years ago was the 1 seed versus the 8 seed, so it was kind of unique. The 8 seed got killed. But it was unique. It was unique.
And I want to ask you when we get to commercial, you mentioned the NBA and you are an NBA fan, so I do want to get your opinion. So we'll put a pin in it, but I want to ask your opinion on the in-season tournament for the NBA that they do. So we'll go back to that. But so again, unfortunately, the crowd is sitting down. They're not too invested in this match. Hopefully, there's some big moments that happen here.
The finisher and then they roll out of the ring is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, is this it? This could be it. Yes. And unfortunately for Dakota Kai, she is eliminated from the tournament.
So I heard this might not be true, but she's about to grow wings and fly out of here with the belt.
Just fly right out of the
right out. Some CGI, but some real too. So
Adam is showing her the title. Like I didn't
should
know
be happening right now.
Here. Yep.
How many years did it take for them to figure out the magnetic snaps on the back? Because they used to fight with putting on the back. Hey, hold on. Stand still. Oh, it fell off. Hold on. Oh, Dakota's mad. Nope, they're going to do the hug. Knee her in the face. Come on.
She's not to be trusted.
This right here was ridiculous. You can't fake that. The suplex off of the apron, like you can't fake that. That knocks the wind out of you, regardless of who you are.
Yes, that was what a bump that was. Like I'm sure she's gonna I had softball practice yesterday afternoon, and I'm moving around like an old crippled person today.
Oh, you getting the championship jeans flowing, buddy? You getting back at it?
Well, I only get to do the practices. Eileen and Joe have more capable. The team's in more than capable hands with those two. But so I do. When we do have a practice, I get to play more than 5 seconds. So that's always good. But we have quite a few.
You're there early, like warming up.
Yes, I usually just get to stretch and maybe base coach, but I'll take it. But
you're like always in the batter's box. Like you're not the guy coming up next, but you're always there.
I'm always there. And fun fact number 2. Those that don't know, we're a baseball heavy podcast usually. Jackie Robinson was the first African American player to play in the major leagues, but there was another African American who was on deck, but they got the third out before he got his opportunity to get to the plate, and then he lost his moment. So
that is horrible. That's horrible.
That's really
start it back. We're gonna do 4 outs now. It's fine.
Yep. So I never really did digging into that, who that individual was, if he ever got to play, if he ever got called up, but I don't think he did. So I think he missed his moment. But no, with the softball, new players this season, lost a few, gained a few, so should be good. That starts tomorrow night. The house plays, I believe, American Reformation Church at 7:30, and then the Mission Hispania Super Team at 8:30. We only got to play them. They were the team that won the other division. I think they were 21-1 for the season. They're a tough out, but I really think if we would have had our team that we had that won our division got to play them, I think we would have put a hurting on them. I think it would have been a much closer game. Hello, there's the new star of the show right there.
It was his birthday yesterday. 2 years old.
2 years old. Well, happy birthday.
2 years old. Yeah.
Yes.
His full name, all right, King Hiro Hamada von Anderson, because he's like a purebred, so you had to pick these names. So the kids got to pick all the names, and then we just smushed them all together.
Yes, right. But let's see. You said 2 years old though? Okay.
Yep. 2 years old.
And just the one, right? Just the one dog?
So no, there's a little old one. So we had a Chihuahua forever. Shadow, 13 years. And he wound up passing. So we have an older dog, Rose, who's like 12. And I wanted a bigger dog. So I went on like a German Shepherd hunt for a white German Shepherd. And I got scammed 80,000 times. Like if you go search white German Shepherd, you'll pull up somebody and they'll be like, send me $500 and I'll ship him right over. But they're fake as can be. And then you start looking up reviews and stuff. So 6 months later and convincing the wife, I finally got this guy, Hero. It was a crazy time because my oldest son had just left for the Navy. So it was weird, you know. So I was like, yeah, I'd like a little puppy to at least talk to. Hey, buddy, you can be my puppy. So that's where Hero came from. And then my son had come back from the Navy, and they're like best friends. And my daughter and him, they chase around, and then we'll play hide and seek. So we throw the ball, and then I go hide, and he's looking all over for me. And just a fun, big, goofy guy, just like me.
Bye, Heather. Have a good night. Thank you so much. And I will message you, but we will have you and Mark on Sunday evening to talk the national championship. So thank you again for that. I appreciate you.
I wouldn't have guessed at the beginning of the season it'd be Notre Dame and Ohio State. That'd probably be the last two.
Not at all.
Alabama doesn't make it. Miami is so close, and
yeah, definitely.
I'm a Florida State fan, so
yes, right. So let me update our results here, as we now have 3 official matches in the books. So with Lyra.
So a new women's intercontinental champion. This guy, so smart to flip the logo though, like in flipping the microphone and doing his show, just like
right.
He's an opportunist.
Yep.
From a lot of people probably don't even remember the real world, like where he came from.
Right. Yeah. And he's been there for so long. But now the thing with the Miz too is like they've tried him, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2 times they tried the fan favorite thing and it just doesn't work. And unfortunately, when I think Miz, I think the most excited or the most invested I was with the Miz was when they had, which I think it was the 20. I'm going to go on and let me say the 2016. If those of you that remember, 2016 and early 2017 SmackDown was the best SmackDown I think they ever had. It's a very, very small roster, but it was Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon overseeing the roster. They had 6 women. But they just, everything they did was money. And until Vince McMahon didn't like it anymore and decided that they're going to give the championship to Jinder Mahal, and all went horribly wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah, Jinder just shows up with the belt. You're like, what? Who?
Yep. So he
had a fun run.
Yeah.
They brought back that
a lot of wins over Randy Orton. I think 3 consecutive pay-per-view wins over Randy Orton. And I'll never forget that moment during the final one. It was the Punjabi prison match. And then you have the great Kali coming down. Oh, God.
The Punjabi prison, like that was not that well thought out.
Here's another thing that bothers. I don't know why it bothers me, but it does. So because they forget remember the first Royal Rumble that Great Khali comes out to, and they're like, oh, who's gonna throw out this man? And I think the first year, like within 3 minutes, the entire ring throws him out. Okay, that's believable. And then I think the next year he got tossed by Beth Phoenix, and then the next year he got tossed by one person. And so every year they're like, oh, he's the odds-on favorite. Nobody's going to get him over there. Meanwhile, like they're forgetting that the last 3 years, that one person by themselves tossed him out in less than 2 minutes. And so, there's always that every year. There's always like, oh, like this year it'll probably be Braun Strowman, or it won't be Bronson Reed, or Otis or somebody like that. Like they're going to make that same comment that they always do.
If I'm a big man, I don't know if I feel great about WWE and what they do to big men. Like almost. Yep. I don't even know how you say it, but Big Show they did dirty towards the end. Jinder Mahal is just Jinder Mahal, but Khali, Elegante, that.
Yeah, the only, if I'm not mistaken, I think the only two big men. Now Batista's a big man and all that stuff, but the only two legit big men to win a Royal Rumble match were Big John Studd and Yokozuna. I think that was it. So
I don't think Studd did anything with it either. I don't think he got like anything.
No, he was one of the first action figures I had. I remember that much.
He was a beast, but he didn't win a lot. Like he'd win squash matches, but like the big matches he should have won. No, I think he fought Andre a lot.
Yep.
Could you imagine drinking with those two? Like, holy moly.
I'll need another one. Oh.
Like the stories about Andre and the beer just being a tiny little thing in his hand.
Yep.
Give me more. So there's a picture with Arnold, Wilt, and Andre in the middle, and he just like dwarfs the both of them, and it's crazy.
Remember the one with, what's his name? The commentator for Milwaukee Brewers. What's his name? He's still doing the commentary now after all these years, but was in the Major Leagues movies. Forget his name.
Oh, I love those movies. Are hilarious.
Yes, he's out by an eyelash at third. I was trying to remember what his name is, but anyway, there's that visual of Andre the Giant's palm on his head. Bob Uecker. That's what it was. Bob Uecker.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I know him more of as a movie star and a sitcom star. That's so funny. I didn't even know he was a real baseball commentator. What the heck is wrong with me?
Yeah, for I think 30 plus years with Milwaukee Brewers, which is hilarious to me. I thought he was.
No, and even in stuff he plays that.
Yeah.
Those movies, like Charlie Sheen had a little moment there where he was the mega star.
Yes. Yep. I remember the movie where he's got names every pitch, and those two grumpy Indian fans in the
wild thing, dun, 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 dun.
From out of nowhere.
Those like baseball movies are so good, and they're just like American movies, and they make you feel good at the end of them.
There was a 5-year stretch between Sandlot's my all-time favorite movie of any genre of anything. Like that's my number one. But Sandlot
it brings your childhood back a little bit.
Yes, with Roland Gardner and Angels in the Outfield and Bull Durham and obviously the Field of Dreams, and there's just so many more I can name, but so good.
I was just thinking about Angels in the Outfield the other day for some reason.
Yeah. So the Miz falls to Sami Zayn. Nothing really accomplished here. I'm not quite sure. I think you just call it the Blue Thunderbolt, but that's okay. We'll take it.
I'm not sure what mommy's wearing here, but okay.
So so I don't know. I think that was just a filler match just to fill a few minutes. But it is what it is. Sammy needed a win. He hasn't won in a while, so we'll take it.
I thought when he was walking back, the Miz there, I thought he was going to get beat up by Karrion or something, but nothing happened. So.
Karrion's not going to be happy with that outcome. We'll just say that.
No, and then like AOP, they had him for a little while, and then they were gone, and now they're back, and now they seem gone again. So I don't know.
Yeah. And we're to an M&M commercial. So, but let me see here. Yeah. So right now, I believe the only other match announced, right, is the main event. So I'm sure they'll have some other stuff between now and then. But that's where these 3-hour shows can get difficult because there really hasn't been tonight's storyline progression, like I had hoped there would be. But there has been a little bit, that the Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre interview with CM Punk earlier on, and teasing something with Gunther and Jay, but Jay's in the Rumble and Gunther's not. So I don't quite know what's going on, but it's
I'm still waiting for where is it? Like something.
Yeah. I mean, really, tonight's is really, if you really think about it, the only thing. I mean, well, Lyra winning the title is a big moment for her, but what do you call it? The Penta debut, really.
Yep.
So we are. Let me see here. Yeah, just about at the 2-hour mark. Any change with the Rams? Is it gotten uglier?
The second half just started. The Vikings have the ball, so if they are going to do something, they need to do it now. They need to strike very, very fast, and that would get you 10. You'd be down by 2 scores. The biggest thing to that would be holding them, obviously. So you'd have to strike fast and hold them. So it's a big challenge. It's doable. We've seen a lot of games flip in the second half. There's a lot of teams that started fast, but then in the second half, they just didn't even show up. The one good thing about Tampa Bay and the Commanders game is it seemed pretty consistent. It was 10-10 at halftime. Then it was 20-20 almost halfway through the fourth quarter. So it was an entertaining game. You didn't know which way that thing was going.
No, that was something, you hope with playoff games that you always want your team to win, but you want the game to be close, even though you don't like the anxiety moments and nail biting moments. It just makes it for a better experience when they have to pull it out from those kind of circumstances.
Here you go. So something you were talking about.
Yep. Now I'm surprised it's here and not at WrestleMania, but I'll take it. Braun Breaker, Sheamus, Intercontinental Championship. That is not the only title match. Okay. Oh.
Okay. So I don't know if Nick Khan and Triple H are too busy counting $10 billion. Like, we just don't know what that looks like. So that takes a long time. So they're not writing storylines for maybe Raw right now. And they're just kind of like, just go wrestle.
Yep.
I'm disappointed. I'm still happy. But.
Yep. What do you call it? The only thing I don't like about what we just saw there is it's right before the Royal Rumble. Jey Uso is already in the Rumble. But, I mean, I guess we're to believe that Jay's going to win the title on a Saturday night's main event, and then Gunther would take his spot in the Rumble. Kind of strange. But, so, who knows? We'll see.
That would be really weird if that happened. Like, I want a ending that fits both of them. They can both succeed from it. Somebody comes out and messes them up, or they cost Gunther the title, which I would like too. And Jay gets to get it, but he gets to go on his own thing, and then Gunther can be mad at his Ludwig for beating him up or whatever.
So it's like those 2 matches that we're talking about that they just announced, those would have been, in my head, WrestleMania matches, but they're doing them on Saturday night. Now, I can say that not much happened at the first Saturday night's main event. It was hyped to all get up, and it didn't really deliver for me like I wanted it to. Hopefully this next one does. It's right before the Royal Rumble, but we shall see. Now, where they go with Rhea is interesting to me because they've closed the door on the Liv Morgan. They had to have. So what do you think is next? Is it Io Sky? Is it the winner of the Rumble? I don't know what she's going to do out here. I can't imagine, unless they're bringing out Raquel Rodriguez again. But I feel like that's even happened. So.
Yeah, I don't want to see that again. I'd love to see somebody come back, Charlotte, a Becky, and Alexa, somebody. But it'll probably be something. I don't know. 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 not worthy of that. The Vikings just punted the ball back after 5 plays and 20 yards. So
It's oof. That's
not
rough.
looking good for them. That's kind of like what it seems like Triple H is doing right now on me, is punting the ball. You guys figure it out. What? So.
That's funny.
Have you seen her like older matches where she was a blonde?
Yes. Yeah.
It's so weird to see the change.
It is weird
like
to see, and without the lipstick, and she was. I think it started with for me was the women's. Those were both so good. The Cruiserweight Classic and the women's one.
Oh yeah, the Dusty Rhodes.
Yep.
But like this is what made her like changing herself up. So she was trying to fit in and be the same as everybody else, and it was like, no, you needed to do this. You needed to stand out.
Yeah. And we were talking about, the NXT upstarts that are ready to come back up. But now I know we've seen some of the matches before, but when you really think about who's on the shelf for WWE right now, you have your Charlotte Flair, of course, you have your Becky Lynch, you have your Alexa Bliss, and you also have your Asuka that are all on the shelf right now. So
Asuka was crazy when she first came out, man. She was whooping people.
Yeah. I'll give you a name, though, that now it's not going to happen, but a Jordan Grace, Rhea Ripley would be an awesome. All right, so now we've got Nia Jax. So now the window of portal, galaxy, whatever you want to call it.
She just signed an NIL deal with Monday Night Raw. Like, did somebody not show up and they were like, you go out there?
I have to say that Nia Jax, to me, has completely stepped up her game from her first run. I think I'm not saying I enjoy every minute of her matches and whatnot, but she has believability factor as a heel, and she has definitely reinvigorated her career for sure.
The mic work is so much better than it was the first go around. They kind of did the bully thing with Alexa Bliss. Like, I'm the goddess and you're ugly. Like, what? So I think maybe tonight's just setting up Saturday night's main event. So I think that's what's going to happen here. Oh. I hope no animals were harmed in the making of that.
Right. So she's going to enter the Royal Rumble. Okay. Are we going to see Jade Cargill? Is she still alive? Is she out of the hospital?
Is she out of the hospital? Oh, that's tough. That's tough. What, yeah, what is your opinion on the whole Jade Cargill? How do you think she did? How do you think she's doing?
I mean, if you think about it, this is the worst thing for Jade Cargill because she needs the reps, right? Like, that was her whole thing. She's green, like, and not in a good way. Like, she was coming along, but this is, unless she's showing up at the Performance Center and having house show matches, which she's not. Oh, you can't just have a fan jump the rail like that.
I was thinking the same thing. Oh, she can do it. So,
I did like the talent and the sidelines around the ring like that, like they had on the debut episode. But
yeah. I think it's okay to sprinkle them in. And I wonder, do they sit there all show?
Now, I missed that? So Bailey just said that this may not be my show, but this is my city. But forget me if I'm wrong, but this is not Nia Jax's show either. So I not quite.
Maybe there'll be a triple threat on Saturday night or something. It's going to be all three of them. Like, I get so disappointed when there's no change in anything at these shows. Like, there has to be at least one big thing I didn't see coming.
Yeah, I agree.
That headbutt from Rhea is nasty.
It really is. It looked like she knocked herself out, though.
What's going on on here?
Oh.
Wait, she's got purple hair. That could be a sign of Sasha Banks coming back. She's gonna hit her.
Oh man, they really dropped the ball with I know she's had some matches, but anytime she touches the microphone, it's turn off the TV for me.
And I want to keep the character, but I'm going to change it just a little bit. So I'm not the boss, but I'm the CEO. And I know I can't say this, but I can say this. So I'm not going to be that, but I'll be this. I'm a Lexus, not a Mercedes. I'm a Sasha, but I want to hold on to what was successful, but I want to be a new person too. Makes no sense whatsoever. Go out there and do your thing.
Yep, just do your thing. And I missed where they said, I didn't see it on there, where they're going to be next week. They're showing that they're going to be March 10th at Madison Square Garden.
That should be a huge New Day return to action.
Okay, well, that's good they didn't forget about them, because I was wondering what was going on. JBL. Okay. Well.
Okay.
He looks different. No eyes. That's a new look for him. But Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. So they are loading up next week, which is a good sign.
Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. I hate you, Seth. I hate you, Drew. How many times? I think that went back 3 times. Seth won twice, and then Drew got one finally, and then Damian came out and whooped him up.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna relive Damian's past.
Yep, they got jokes then. Okay. Oh, this is okay. And I saw something they're gonna do I thought I saw. I'm very upset about the Royal Rumble being in Saudi in 2 years. I'm not even processing that just yet, but. Then I saw that they're also doing another show in June. I don't want them adding a third Saudi show to the calendar. Absolutely not. The 2 that we get they don't even feel like PLEs. They just feel like a glorified house show. But nothing ever important happens on those.
And there's a deal somewhere in there that it's you have to show it to the world and you have to tell them that we're awesome over here and we treat everybody great. What? We don't all of a sudden forget you hate women. No, we like them. They just have to wear long sleeve shirts.
Do we have to give them the actual Royal Rumble? Could we just pretend that it's that it is the Royal Rumble in August and call it the greatest Royal Rumble too? Would they even notice? These are the same people that wanted Yokozuna and the Ultimate Warrior, so that were not even alive. So
they might have been able to bring in some lookalikes. There could have been a couple of lookalikes.
Yeah, because that's a lot. We joke a little bit, but the with the women not being able to wear certain things, that if you have a women's Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, that's 30 full body suits that the tailors have to make. So that's a lot of work.
If you're used to not wrestling and all that, it is a big difference as far as your cardio and what you go through and stuff like that. And that's not a joke. And it's not I want to see them without clothes, but it really is different. You're used to wrestling and what you're used to wrestling. And imagine John Cena in his jorts. That couldn't have been easy the first couple of times.
No. I want to ask you this question because, they're talking about moving American Made over to SmackDown because they've got a little bit of a tag team division going on over there. But with Raw right now, it's literally the Judgment Day, the New Day, and the War Raiders. They can't just recycle that over and over. So I don't quite understand the need for 2 tag team championships right now. There's just not enough roster depth for that. And don't think of a lot of, unless, some of the teams Pretty Deadly and you have the LWO and you have Angel Garza and his partner, and there's they have the Motor City Machine Gun. So there's a lot more going on SmackDown. But I would like to see some more teams from somewhere if they are going to continue to separate the championships. But I really would keep them together at this point.
Yeah, it's tough because you wanted to see them separated for so long, and just carrying 4 belts around was too much for me when it was the undisputed tag team champions and they're carrying around 4 belts. It's really, guys? So
Yeah.
I think they might be able to just go back to one set. I like the 2 sets, but you would have to have more competition, and they just don't.
Yeah, they don't have enough to warrant it. And I'm surprised here because, to my knowledge, this is all that was left for the show. So this could be an example of them ending whenever the heck they want to end, because it's 10:09 and this is, I thought, the main event, but it could be wrong. Was there anything else that you know of that was announced? I can't think of anything. So
No, I can't think of any. I know this can't go for 51 minutes, and if there's that many commercials in it, that's pretty sad.
So they might be trying the 2.5 hour mark. I didn't hear if they said this was the main event, but
well, it's a street fight, so I guess it could be interesting. But we've seen this so many times, and there's nothing on the line really. So I'm not too sure where they're thinking creative wise.
Yeah, but that's it. It really is an eye opener, and it's a little scary. It could be a little, as much as WWE's getting right now. When you look outside of the main event scene in terms of the bloodline, when Cody and all that stuff, that Triple H is getting people on TV. It's not like AEW where guys like Miro have disappeared and Ray Phoenix have disappeared and Tony Stark. All these people, or not Tony Stark, but it's Ricky Starks. There you go, Ricky Starks.
He signed Iron Man. Like what the?
He probably could if he wanted to.
I mean, he could buy Disney.
So WWE, they're getting these people on camera. It's just the crowd's not reacting to a lot of them, and that is a bit of an issue. Maybe it's because we're seeing them so often, but so hopefully they can figure out a better way to promote their mid card just a little bit better.
More dream,
but commercial.
So, I don't. It's a whole new ball game for Triple H. So I think they have to feel it out. But exactly like you said, if you don't get the crowd involved soon, this is going to be a sour relationship, like almost like Fox.
Yeah. I'm just checking on X and just out of curiosity on and those for you youngins, X's Twitter, but just to see, and it's a lot. I'm surprised by this, but there is a lot of positivity about tonight's show. Like a lot of people that are just happy that they're progressing with some stories, and just seems like more of a banger of a show. But quoting Fightful Select, which is one of the most reputable, that this is definitely the main event segment and unlikely to go 50 minutes. So definitely looking like this is going to end prior to the normal end time. So
I might write him a thank you letter for that. I might.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm all for. I'm not saying I dislike the 3-hour show, and I'm not saying I dislike the 2-hour show. I want my 3-hour shows to be 3-hour shows because they're important. It doesn't have to be every week. Like if you end at 10:25, it's okay. No one's going to be that upset about it. If we don't get to see Akira Tozawa and we get out of there 30 minutes before, then I'm good with it. So
agreed, 100%. Akira though, so funny. You remember? What was that Kai and Tai?
Oh God, with Taka Michinoku and Val Venus,
Funaki, and when they did that, wow!
Funaki was the greatest SmackDown announcer or something like that. Yeah,
Funaki.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. Speaking of acting, I think we had some great actors in church this weekend. So I thought that was awesome. So you're doing great things over there.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I don't know if you got to make it out on Sunday night because we got there early, but then we kind of were talking to people. But during the prayer service on Sunday night, they were actually did a deep dive onto it related to what we were doing, but they actually pretty much spoke a lot on Adam and Eve as well. I love when that just works out, right? Like, what is the chances? Like,
yeah.
So
that's the confirmation you need. That like, all right, I wasn't crazy because I thought I was a little crazy.
Yeah, and it was cool to be able to walk into your classroom and then to walk into Diana's classroom and then to Mark's classroom and see that the just a different way or approach for the same lesson 3 times but 3 different groups, because it really is 3 different dynamics. So it's interesting to see it presented 3 different ways, and stuff. So I thought that was cool. So moving on to this Sunday, I'll be the 9 o'clock. We're moving on to Cain and Abel. So that'll be what's up next on tap. And then week 4.
That's silly. That's so silly. And I'll talk to you about it later because that goes right hand in hand with something I'm doing. So.
Yeah. So week 3 is Cain and Abel. And then week 4, we're covering the Judgment Day. So that'll be that's.
Well, I mean, like they were on top, and now who even knows who they are?
Yep.
Who could it be?
And I do off air too. I'll tell you about something that happened Sunday as well, which is craziness. But you'll get a kick out of that one. But
who would have thought Carlito was coming back? I never would have thought, and stuck around for as long as he did. This might be longer than his last run.
Yeah, his last run. And I was just in shock at how much, what kind of shape he was in. That was what really got me. When he came back.
Ridiculous.
And I saw Bad Bunny's ready to come back for one more match. He's brought it all 3 times that I think he said 2 matches and one in the 3rd appearance. But
when is Logan Paul coming back?
He said I'm full time now, but then he really just sat down last week and not done anything tonight. I think, honestly, we're talking about, not that it would be a banger match or anything like that, but we're talking about Damian Priest kind of being directionless after this is over. That might not be the worst idea, but we'll see.
I think that would be a great match for him. Logan Paul, when they did the Roman Reigns thing, I wouldn't have thought Logan Paul would have hung at all, but he did a fairly good job.
Not at all. Not at all.
In credit to Roman, finally using the hate of the crowd towards you, because the push for the 3 or 4 years they were trying to make him the good guy didn't work at all. So he finally turned it around. And then just to battle the leukemia and go through the things and still be the top of the company and still carry the championship for that long, and just wow.
Yeah. No, definitely. Who is one nostalgia act that you would love to see at a Royal Rumble, like a one and done, not a full-time return, but is there someone outside the box that we haven't seen return 16 times that comes to mind? Is there anybody that? Because it's always fun. There's got to be a Rumble surprise. You can't.
AEW ruins so much of it, right? Because they can't even be surprises now because they're over there not working. But Jeff Jarrett is a fun one, or Road Dogg's too old. A lot of them dudes are too old to even be doing it. Coco Beware would have been awesome. I don't even know if he's alive anymore.
Yeah, you mentioned AEW. I think for me, he's under contract, so I don't think Tony would release him. But I think the fans, like I mentioned, Matt Cardona earlier, but I think the one guy that is in AEW right now that even more than Aleister Black, who's rumored to be on his way back, definitely seems like they're not going to continue his contract, but is Rusev. I think Triple H would do him okay, and he's done absolutely nothing as Miro. He's asked for a release of his contract. I don't think it was granted, so he's just kind of sitting there. But I think a Rusev Day at Royal Rumble would be pretty awesome. But definitely AJ Lee would be the other one for me. I think it's long overdue. And that's, if they don't do it at Rumble, then I don't know when you do it.
He organically did that Rusev Day thing, and it took off, and it took over, and they let him go. I don't know why the whole Lana Bobby Lashley angle was a horrible use of him.
Yeah.
Rusev Day would be fun.
Yeah, it really would. I would enjoy that. CWO shirt. Okay. Well, whatever.
I haven't seen AJ Styles do anything for a while either.
Because he got injured his first match back.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm sure those tables have nothing but cushiony boxes underneath them. Do you remember? that was incredible power. Like more than what going through the table, like to be able to hold him in the air like he did just there, that was incredible.
Especially like the dude can't help you because he's like hurt or something. You got to lift him.
Yeah.
That's ridiculously hard. That's when you pull a muscle.
I think the crowd just woke up.
Yeah. Some of the greatest matches ever, I think, were Shane McMahon.
Oh gosh, yes.
Like that dude had some matches.
That jump from one end to the other and
the coast to coast. But like the things when he used to jump off the stage, regardless of what you're falling on.
And the whole thing with Kurt Angle, like, you know, landed on his neck like several times. And it was
man.
Do it again. It's okay.
I watched the backstory of that one, and the ref, like they were telling the ref through the earpiece, like if he does it again, he's fired. And like Mike Chioda is in Kurt's ear, like, don't do it again. And Shane's like, don't not do it. And he's like, you know, what do I do? I'm going to get fired, but I'm going to get fired if I don't. So, and that turned into one of the greatest pay-per-view matches I think I've ever seen. I was like, holy moly.
That's funny. Yeah, just a lot of positive feedback on Penta's debut. I really, you know, you can't go wrong with a lot of opponents for him. I think, you know, they got to be careful. They don't want to just have win after win after win, not meaning something. It is a little bit more difficult to do a storyline with certain people, but I think he's going to be okay. I think a lot of people were worried that he was just going to you know, but we'll see, you know. Now, every once in a while, like AEW, I feel like they are doing Ricochet right. They're changed his character. He's now a heel, and he's kind of being a little wonky. So I'm kind of digging that a little bit. But, you know, I love the last, you know, when we talk about developing new stars, I feel like the last time that I felt that way was the Bronson Reed match with, or when Bronson Reed with 7 tsunamis on Seth Rollins. Like I legit was like, they made his career that night. Like that was super entertaining, and unfortunately got injured. He's going to be out quite a while, but even they followed that up with Braun Strowman. And I thought that was an awesome, you know, they're just fighting everywhere and destroying everything. I love that. Now Braun Strowman, I could care less really. Unfortunately right now.
It's a hard one because you want to like him. You want to be like, do good, be great. Cause you're this big force, but he's just, there's not there. And there's always snot in his beard. And that's just weird. Always snot. Clean that up, buddy. Somebody get you a Kleenex.
What do you call it? I think, you know, it's interesting. One thing too, if you think about the WWE guys that went to AEW that haven't been successful past their first 3 weeks is crazy long. But if you think about the AEW to WWE, even though it's a shorter list, even though she hasn't done too much yet, you have Jade Cargill, who they basically, when they debuted her, it was like the next second coming of like Charlotte Flair. Like they built her up so strong. Cody Rhodes, obviously, and then obviously CM Punk, and now potentially Penta is going to get that. And then in NXT, Ethan Page became world champion pretty quickly. Would like to see more out of Ty Dillinger or the chairman, Sean Spears. You know, like to see more there, or with Brian Pillman Jr. But
that it just goes to show you the differences in creative there. Like what you can do with somebody, but it's now does this just take him out? So now who's he going to fight? Because I see he wants to fight.
It's interesting to see he's in the ring.
Is Finn going to take it all off, go down there and demon persona whoop him up?
Oh, no. Not Carlito. No. Where's the apple? I'm concerned. I don't see the apple. Oh. JD McNugget. He's just always there.
I guess Finn trained him.
So
they're both from Ireland or whatever. Yeah. That's why like winning the tag team thing was so cool or whatever for them guys, and it probably was.
Oh, that was cool. That was convenient. That worked out really well.
And Finn's going to win this thing. One thing they talked about was the Rey Mysterio back, where Big Show took him on the back brace on the board there and hit him against the ring post. You're like, yep, you couldn't fake that. He just dropped me right on my.
It's the Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Okay.
Here we go. Take the strap down. Oh, I'm really mad.
Oh, Carlito's back. Where's the masterpiece, Chris Masters, when you need him?
Oh, man. Back when he first did that, I thought it was the nastiest move ever before. I think he even did it before Chris Jericho and like the code breaker. But
yeah,
like just
I think so.
You can't fake that. How do you fake that? Like, oh, I landed on his knees softly.
I'm expecting the Warriors to come out, but that's not that exciting.
Oh, yeah, and then that'll set up a triple threat for. Didn't they? Or they did that last week.
They probably, yeah. Finn, just take it off. Okay.
The new Judgment Day. Finn, you get up here with the neck brace. What if like Better Call Saul came and gave him a card? Injured on the job.
Doesn't look too happy.
I was going to bring out, I got a referee shirt in the closet, and I was going to ask if you like the zebra stripes more or these new black little ones here. Did they get rid of the camera in the ear?
I forget who it was that one of the referees on social media showed like what it's like under the ring. Like they actually have a TV down there. I think it was Kevin Owens was in the segment.
Was it little Nate? Was it Charles Robinson?
No, it was somebody else recent. It was real recent. But not a big surprise here, the War Raiders. I do miss when Ivar was in the singles competition. He was very entertaining. He was very good. Not that I dislike him in tag team. It's just he proved that. That's one thing I love about Triple H too. Is like under Vince McMahon, if you were part of a team and one was injured, that you never saw either one of them. But Triple H is not shy to.
Well, I mean, that helps you with your moveset with your team, too. Like, hey, I tried this and it worked out real good because you're essentially a singles wrestler until your tag team guy is in there.
Yep.
You know who they did wrong? The Street Profits. Like, I thought they were really, really, really good for a while, and they just never did.
Yeah. I want to see Montez Ford singles run. I think he was in that one elimination chamber and proved he belongs there.
I definitely thought so. I thought they were going to run with that for a little while.
And that would be, just thinking off the cuff here, like 2026, imagine a Jey Uso Montez Ford storyline, like just to have two guys that were tag team guys that made it on their own.
He could carry a crowd. So I think that would be a smart thing to have him in a main event.
Yep. And, interesting, this is breaking news on Fightful that the Wyatt Six have been moved to SmackDown. Well, I'm glad they moved somewhere because they're
the Wyatt Six, the missing in action. Like Bo hasn't been seen in forever. So
remember the 4.5 month Veer is coming. Remember?
What was that?
Veer. He was one of the lackeys for Jinder Mahal in his tag team.
Okay, yeah, it was the Indus Shear thing.
But he was like 4.5 months.
Guy. Yeah, he didn't last long. Yep.
Wait. Yep. That's take the chair off your neck.
It was weird that they did the Penta thing and the War Raiders thing so close to each other. I mean, I know they were trying to play off of it.
Yeah.
But it was just like, you could have done that a little differently.
See, where are they going to be? Let's see. January the 20th. Let's see. Dallas, Texas. Okay. That'll be a good crowd.
Oh, yeah, the JBL. That makes sense.
Yep.
And Dallas just let Mike McCarthy go.
So, yeah.
So his contract was up, so I guess he really didn't get fired, but he won't be there next year. So
I think Pete Carroll gets an NFL coaching job next year somewhere.
I'm betting the Bears probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think he likes those northern teams. Like I hate when they hire like coaches that did okay or have won Super Bowl 10 years ago, or like, oh, we're gonna get Ron Rivera. Like, what?
Yes, right. Let's just keep recycling the same people.
Mm-hmm. So, even I think Pete Carroll will do okay with the Bears.
One thing I loved seeing this week, and hopefully, I know it's not good for NFL ratings. It's better if the Chiefs go far again, but like the head coach for the Texans, it was awesome to see how excited he was. Like most coaches, doesn't matter what the score is, they just still look grumpy and angry at the world. But he was it was like he was a pig in a playpen. He was so excited.
So picture him like last year, right? Going through the Deshaun Watson thing. Like you've just been hit with your 87th lawsuit. You're like, how much am I paying this guy? And then the Browns are like, we'll give you $300 million. Like, yep. You can have him. Like, and now he has CJ Stroud and he's in the playoffs and he's in the divisional round. Like he's just like, thank you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's so many good young quarterbacks that are left right now. It's gonna be good. Here we go.
There are just some garbage QBs too.
Oh yeah, there are those as well.
Like Deshaun tours, and I wish no harm to anybody. I say that in jest because I obviously want him to be okay. But he tore his Achilles again, and he's making $60 million a year to not play football. So,
yep, he's got a good gig for sure.
And that's what it is. But I think we have a greater purpose in this world. So here we go. Just the Undertaker come back now.
Yeah. It's a little slow to pin him here, but I think he gets him.
What did he say to him? You're not my...
Big win for Priest. I don't know what that means for Balor at this point. I think that just means the end of the Judgment Day, or Dom is the new leader. What was that about? That was an interesting shot there. Okay.
Dom is the new leader. Okay. So, that was a weird.
I think Dom should be the new leader. I think he's earned it, but we'll see.
I think Liv is going to fight Dom at WrestleMania. I think it's going to be Liv versus Dom.
Punishment Martinez with the win. Oh. That was terrible. Like that name.
Punishment Martinez. The Archer of Infamy.
Let's see.
I can't believe he's as old as he is.
Yeah. Lee Fitting, executive producer. So I think it was, it looks like we're coming to an end here. I think so. Definitely in terms of in-ring action and storyline progression, better than last week. I still feel like it was a safer episode. Like they knew that the NFL playoffs are on, and so let's put a decent show out there. But we don't need to reinvent the wheel. But I think they need to start.
That's why you're the host, buddy. That's why you're the host.
That's right.
Smart.
Yes.
That's smart.
Yes. Because Royal Rumble's coming up in 2 weeks. They gotta, hopefully next week they pick up the pace just a little bit more, but they're headed in the right direction. So thanks everyone. I see a lot of you still there that are just minimizing us maybe and watching it. That's okay. You're here, so all that matters. So thanks each and every one of you. We will go get some rest so we can do this thing they call life tomorrow. So until next time, everybody, until next Sunday night when we're live, we'll see you all around the ballpark. Thank you, guys.